I was trying to remember whose thoughts I was reading.
It was Elena's.
But yeah, and then I was like, oh no, that was 2 sessions ago. And it was a
Oh
mistake.
yeah.
A very good one.
That
Oh,
was
yeah.
so funny.
No
Oh my
regrets.
goodness.
Of
Grim has
all
some
the
regrets, but
characters
I
to
do not.
choose to read thoughts on, Elena is definitely a choice.
Grim.
Not
Peter.
just read thoughts on, but also warn in advance that you're reading thoughts on and then explicitly say, don't think about things. And then, what else did Grim expect?
Grim can canonically can either think clearly or quickly, but never both at once. And so sometimes these things happen.
And the thing
Fair.
is
I
Elena
respect
didn't
it.
even do it on purpose. She uses a wisdom
No.
of 0, so if you tell her, don't do the thing, her immediate and first thought will be, do the thing?
Do the thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
I love her.
Alina,
absolutely
no.
correct
Alina,
her.
yes.
I was reading the chat for the playtest and got to the part about how, the difference between being about being in a cult and being in, what was it?
Oh, acolytes versus cultists. Yeah.
Acolytes versus cults. And
Yes.
I read that and I thought about Elena.
Very good. Yeah, how did that go?
It was really fun.
It was
Yeah.
it was a fun session.
Did you get the blink dog walked?
The blink dog was walked. No one discovered that it was a blink dog because
Really?
yes, our cleric rolled very, very well on her strength checks to keep the dog wrangled.
Was
And
like
the dog
glimpse
rolled
into
really
an alternate
Teleportation
universe.
involved.
yes,
It
no
was
teleportation.
a brief glimpse into an alternate universe
Very
with
good.
teleportation, and then
Yes,
the memory
and
of
then
bardic inspiration.
yes,
Which
bardic inspiration happened.
Fantastic.
But it was good. I do. I said this in the chat too. If I had to do it over again, I would do it at a higher level, just because level 2, everyone is in the same boat, but also everyone is in the same boat, and so like, there's not a lot distinguishing between individual player characters just by
The classes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I think it was a good level set. And then
Mhm.
we'll do some
Just
follow
to
up
test
stuff.
the waters to see if it was gonna work.
I also
Yeah.
think it would feel different in a campaign versus a
Mhm.
one-shot.
Mhm.
In a one-shot, I'm not wholly
Mhm.
invested in whether or
Uh-huh.
not several of us
Mhm.
are the healer or the tank. In a campaign though, I have had conversations with some people about like, look, I just made a Tabaxi bard that plays the ocarina. Can you not also bring a Tabaxi bard that plays the ocarina? Maybe?
I wish this was
Yeah.
an exaggeration, and I know that it's not.
It's
Oh
not.
wow.
Like literally.
It's a literal conversation I've
No,
had to have.
it's extremely real.
Amazing.
That's why it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But yes, there will be more of them over the next several months, because Wizards is going to be releasing new content on a monthly basis, they've said, more or less.
Oh, interesting.
So there will be additional opportunities. Whether, like, I may not be, like, other folks are more than welcome to run playtests, obviously. Like, I am not going to claim a monopoly on that.
Yeah.
But yes, there will be
Yeah,
opportunities.
I would be happy to try another one out. The timing just didn't line up for me this time.
Sure, and that's fair.
But
And you're
all
fine
I'm
with
glad
that,
that it
so.
worked out real well. Yeah.
I could give one a shot as well.
But I don't know. I have strongly mixed feelings about the
Absolutely.
expanded spell list, because on one hand, yeah, everyone could pick the same spells. On the other hand, you could have two wizards and then have completely different spell lists because you have more spells to choose from. So it's kind of 50-50 for me.
Yeah, and I think part of it too, I want to do a little bit more, and this might be made more clear when they release the first batch of content for class updates and changes, because I was telling the folks this who were actually part of the one shot, but apparently, so there's the way that the character creation stuff was presented is that the spell lists are going to be sorted into 3 categories: primal, divine, and arcane. And then each individual spellcaster category will be able to pick anything from that list. Reddit also seems to think that's specific for people who take the magic initiate feat only, and that each class will still have its own special list. That was not spelled out very
Oh.
clearly in the PDF, though, so I genuinely don't know which
That's
is
a
which.
weird interpretation of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Also, I think it complicates things too much. Like, you have to figure out one specific way to do stuff for like one particular class, but then everybody else is doing it a completely different way. Is I think what you said?
So yeah, so basically, my understanding is it would work one of 2 ways. And again, we're very early
Mhm.
into like playtest material. No one actually knows if this is how it's going to
Yeah.
play out. But basically, version A is basically that the class spell lists as is, like in current 5th ed, continue to exist. But if
Mhm.
you are taking the magic initiate feat, rather than picking a specific class spell list to get your bonus cantrips and first level spell from, you would be able to pick those from categories of primal, arcane, or divine spells.
Okay.
So that
I
would basically
could
give you access
see that
to.
working synergistically with the backgrounds, being able to be like, okay, for your background, pick one from the divine spell list, or pick one from the primal spell list.
Mhm.
Yeah. And the other interpretation is that there are no class specific spell lists. Every spell is categorized as one of those 3. And then every caster within that category, so like bards, sorcerers, warlocks, wizards, and there's one that I'm missing, but I can't remember it. All artificers would all pull from the arcane spell list. Druids and rangers would pull from the primal spell list, and clerics and paladins would pull from the divine spell list. There is some overlap, like
Okay.
detect magic is
So
on
that's the
all
part
3
that was
lists.
not clear.
Yes, I operated on the assumption that was
Yeah.
the second one was going to be the way we were going to go.
'Cause
So we played around with
reading
that.
it, yeah, reading it, that's what it looked like it was.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. Like, I'd be happy to be wrong about that, but
Also, I can
Wow.
see Reddit taking one person's misinterpretation
Mhm.
and then just running with it. So
deciding
for
this is
sure.
gospel now.
yeah,
Like
Also,
making it law. Yeah.
also you
Yeah.
shouldn't have to have a law degree to play D&D.
Yeah. Yeah.
literal
is, I
rules lawyer.
My goodness.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. I do
Yep.
know that there
Man.
is a video that
Oh,
exists
Reddit.
where Jeremy Crawford kind of went through the logic of the UA pieces. I have not watched all of it, so there may be some additional context from that video that I'm missing. I did watch pieces of it, specifically the part that talks about nat 20s and nat 1s and how they're handling that. And that explained the logic of like the reason that they're only giving player characters the ability to crit and roll double dice on an attack is that at low levels, a bugbear crit can wipe out like multiple party members.
Oh yeah.
Dead
Yes.
forever, no chance
Oh,
of
yeah.
resurrection.
I feel
Yeah.
like a little bit of this is okay. First point that won't leave me alone until I literally say the words out loud. I would listen to a podcast called Rules Lawyer, where real lawyers read D&D rules.
Yeah, same.
Okay, that is off my chest. Completely different thought.
Sounds incredible. Someone needs to do that.
Or at least a special episode of
Yeah.
like NADPOD's Dungeon Court
Yeah.
would be amazing.
If I ever had it in me to start a
Yeah.
podcast.
Okay, so second
Oh god,
thought.
for real. Yeah, exactly, Rebecca. You would be like the perfect person
Yeah,
to do
right?
this.
Or
The dude bros hate me though, and I feel like that's the intended audience for this podcast.
or we get lawyers who don't know D&D to read D&D rules and parse it.
Oh,
I
that
would
sounds
listen to that
amazing.
Like,
podcast.
Lawyers
Yes.
Oh,
blind
wow.
react to D&D.
Incredible.
Wow.
Oh gosh. That sounds like a BuzzFeed video, but somebody who isn't BuzzFeed should do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Other thought was completely gone now.
Oh,
Sorry.
no.
Okay, no. Any
Oh no.
DM worth their salt.
About crits, yeah.
Any DM worth their salt fudges dice, and I will not be convinced
Yes.
otherwise. No DM who is running a campaign, no experienced DM would not fudge their dice. The only people who don't fudge
Yeah.
their dice are like hardcore or aggressively like aggro DMs, I think.
Mm.
Or new DMs
Or
who
new
haven't
DMs who
taken
don't
that into
know.
mind yet. Yeah, I love our Curse of Strahd DM very much. He is a good friend of mine, but also we almost died in the second session of that campaign. And I was like, do not kill my character. I like my character. I want to keep playing her. Do not kill her.
Yeah, Strahd is also like not like it's an intense campaign.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So off the record,
But we
I
haven't
did
come
kill
nearly
a
as
player.
close to the total party wipe as we did.
You killed a
that
player?
first
I
time.
did. I meant to say player character. I really
I mean,
shouldn't.
you've had players who would have deserved it. To be fair,
I've had some players. We don't talk
possibly
about
including
those
me
players.
sometimes.
Anyway, no, I did kill a PC, but I established I was doing it to establish a thing more than like I did it on accident, but I let it roll because I also wanted to establish a thing.
I
No,
sometimes
that's
there was
fair.
definitely a point in the back third of the Curse of Strahd game that I ran that I was like, I should have killed a PC in the first third, like
Del-
with an option to
Ooh.
bring them back, like and there would have been a mechanic to bring that person back. It would not have been a permadeath, but having not done it by that point meant that I couldn't do it because it was going to be a whole thing. And at that point, they were into the stuff where
Yeah.
no matter what I did, unless I fudged some dice, it ended up like the dice were on their side. They got real smart at the right times. Like it was fine, but there were definitely a couple times when I was like, this could break real bad, and it's going to be a problem because we didn't establish that it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
A year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did it
Yeah, like-
in Unstuck
That's
pretty
fair.
early. But I did it literally in the game after I introduced that there is a crone. She is going to show up everywhere.
It's
Love
a
a crone.
fine, yeah. It's a fine balance too. Like I remember in this game when you had the ghost aging up effect.
Oh yeah.
Was like it was tense, but it was also a very key like, let's demonstrate that a bad thing can happen and it will be okay for it will be okay for the players. Like it's a complicated thing to navigate, but an important thing because there's a point at which you don't build trust if you don't push it at all. But if you push it too far, obviously then you have a different problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
As we're finding out in other games. Anyway.
Yeah, agreed.
We've all been there.
Yeah, no, you gotta push some things that I like the ghost aging up thing. Like you gotta be aware of your choices, I guess, as a DM. That's my whole theory. Like you gotta be like, you either gotta be really lucky and have an instinct for it, or you gotta be aware of your choices, or some combination thereof, both. Because yeah, the ghost aging up thing I knew was gonna throw you guys for a loop. But then I was like, okay, well, you guys are literally going to go see a paladin who has greater restoration next game, so it's okay.
Yeah. Very much a fine thing.
Yeah, I try not to throw things at my players that are not undoable, or that I don't, or that I think that they would not roll with.
We like that about you.
The eggs in TDK, Hannah knows, were one of those things.
This was that a random encounter we supposed to run into? Yeah, it was somebody. It was
fight. That was a
just
boss fight.
The egg. Oh, different eggs. I was thinking of the magical creature
magical
eggs
creatures
that Tab
eggs?
bought
No.
off the thing, not the that horrifying egg monster.
The
That was
horrifying egg monster that gave you babies.
What?
No.
Yeah.
Not me. I was
Not
just
you.
Oh
there.
no.
The rest of them, like eggs with clones in them.
Wow.
Eggs with clones.
So
Oh,
when
Wow.
Corinne was
Wow.
rescuing us all from buffet eggs, different kind of eggs.
Yeah, there have been lots of egg-related incidents in Heather games.
really
I'm
are.
noticing a trend. Huh. That's fun.
I don't know if I
There's
should
something
lean
fun
into that or not. Macklin threatened to
I don't know.
straight up cook Jor's egg.
Oh no.
He was like, "You
That-
should have scrambled that when you had the chance."
Oh no.
Oh, then you had the chicken.
Oh, we had the chicken. That did
Oh
yep.
yeah, the chickens from hell. They were great. The trap detecting chickens from hell.
Trap detecting chickens from hell.
What a string of words that are in a sentence together.
That's the only time I've killed a pet in a game,
Yeah.
and it was it was my pet, and yeah, Cap had some issues. Needed it was a Reborn Rogue is real weird, y'all.
Yeah, it sure is.
Yep.
So that was I looked at like a bunch of Reddit threads of like 100 things you can put in a dungeon, and chickens labeled trap detecting chickens, but it's impossible to tell whether or not they can detect traps was one of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
He had a people name. They all had people
They
names.
all had people names.
I can't remember if we gave them that or if you gave them that.
One of them came with it, and then I think you gave the rest people names to match.
That checks out.
Yeah, and then I think the idea was is that they detected traps by setting off traps.
Yeah.
That tracks.
It was very effective.
Yeah. Just throw the chicken at the trap and see what happens.
I will say there's an expansion in Sims 4 that has evil chickens that I am imagining hearing talking about the chickens from hell. So there's that.
What a journey.
They weren't even evil, they were just chickens.
They were.
One of them went to an old grandma. The one who survived went to an old grandma, and she used to like just started making cookies with the chicken eggs. I'm sure that was fine.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Someday we'll play a 20 years in the future
Whitestone.
one shot. Yeah.
I mean, I could just set Bikini Werewolf in Whitestone
Oh, well,
and turn it into a chicken instead.
That would be amazing. Hi, Rowena.
Merlin's taking a nap in the cat house.
Oh, baby.
He's so tiny.
Yeah, he's too tiny to let wander around the house with none of us being awake. Like, I just don't feel comfortable yet that he is adulty enough to be let loose. So we have this dog kennel from, I think my sister gave it to us, that one of her Pomeranians used. And for him, it's like a whole ass room.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is.
I have a couple of friends who sometimes foster kittens, like moms and then kittens, and they often use like a big dog crate. This is time honored.
And it has a bowl of food, it has a bowl of water, it has some blankies, and that we call it the cat house. And he just goes to the cat house. It's nice for him. Castle. It's nice for him because he has a safe place that he can go where, because the dogs love him, but are dogs and show their affection dog ways. So it's nice for him to have a little place where he can go and we can close the door.
That sounds
Also because he's still on wet food because he's still like a baby.
They would also like the wet food, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's why we have it in. That's where he gets fed. Is we put him in there and we close the door.
Excellent.
Oh, what a good system. Also, tiny kitty.
So tiny. Oh my god. They handed me this cat. I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is not an old enough cat to be adopted.
This is just a mouse. He's a baby hamster.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like he's younger than the kitten academy cats are when they get adopted because they get adopted at about 3 months.
Yeah. He's 5 or 6 weeks, maybe 6 or 7 now.
Small baby.
Oh yeah, that's really little.
Yeah, his mom. His mom was a stray. He and his brothers and sisters and mom were dropped at the animal hospital that my sister-in-law works at, and so she called me in the middle of the day on a Wednesday and was like, "Hey, do you want a kitten?" And I was like, "Yes."
Yes, the time has come.
Because kittens are a thing that happens to me. I never seek out a kitten. Kittens are things that happen to me.
Yep.
The kitten will come.
Kitten chooses you.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Or Sam in this case, because I got Arthur the same
I like
way.
that.
Yep.
I got Arthur when I was working at a convenience
Aw.
store in the middle of nowhere, and Arthur's human mom came in and was like, I can't, SPCA is charging me money to hand him over, to surrender him, and I don't have that money. And I was like, gimme. Worked an entire shift
Aw.
with a 5-week-old kitten in my hoodie.
Oh,
It was a really big hoodie. I put my hoodie on backwards, and I just put him in the hood.
That's so cute.
that's perfect.
Baby. Little pouch.
Genius. That's really weird that they're like, yes, pay us to pick up the cat.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure there's a reason, but also,
like, yeah, sometimes they do. I've heard it before, but also like, she is not the most trustworthy lady, and like honestly, Arthur hadn't had cat food before he met me. And all of his brothers and sisters had been eaten by a dog. So like, when I'm saying it was a bad situation, I was like, yeah, give me the cat, my cat.
Yeah.
The original plan was I was going to foster Arthur and find him a home. It was like, at the very least, I can give him a home that is not.
and then he was a foster fail.
Yeah. All of my fosters are foster fails. Oh no, I have had one successful foster. Her name is Zenobia.
Yay.
That's a good name.
We caught her her because she was in our tree in the backyard when I was like 16. She just showed up in the tree. We're like, what are you even? And I just took her in, and got her socialized and got her on food, and then broke up with the boyfriend whose house she was living at, so I found her a new home. So I was going off to college.
A happy ending.
I was going off to
middle.
college.
Yay.
I found her a new home, handed her off. I got a message through my mom, because it was coworkers of my mom. I got a message like 2 weeks later saying, we love her. She is the chillest cat ever. She is amazing. She just lets the little girl like drag her around the house. Does not care. Like, they were like, we didn't keep the name Zenobia, but we shortened it to Zen.
That makes sense.
I was like, sure.
I'm trying. Heather, you're going to be recording, right? I'm trying a noise suppression filter. Not nose suppression. Noses are allowed, and it looks like it's going to work based on the levels, testing levels. But I'm a little nervous that I'm not going to pick up anything. So, always good to have backups. Yay!
I'm actually switching back to voice activity because I have finished my dinner.
Huzzah!
Yay.
You all want to play some D&D?
Let's do it.
Sure.
All right.
Why not?
Let's do it.
Who wants to tell me what happened last game?
Is this Rebecca's triumphant return, or Rebecca, should we do it since you were not present for last game?
I am happy to just do a recap based upon reading the notes, unless anybody would prefer like a recap from somebody who was actually there.
That sounds fun to me.
All right. Yeah, so it is almost the end of Uktar. Everybody, congratulations. We've almost made it through another D&D month.
Yay!
Like 2 years later, almost.
It's been 2 years. It's been like 10 years and 2 years.
It's been 84 years.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So Eliana disappeared off to the Court of Miracles early in the morning to go help out with all of the people who they have around, all the many patients who are present because of the continuing to escalate Xanathar and Zentarum fight. It's fine. Surely there's nothing that will come of that. Meanwhile, it was breakfast. The bacon smelled really good. This was distressing to Corinne, who wanted to get some more sleep. There's Erebus is getting oriented in the last call and how things work. Specifically how Kalindra doesn't need any help with anything. Corinne did provide Philip with some important advice about how, and you really don't do an egg buffet, it's better to do quiche or frittata. Grim went to go visit Karis. Um, Found out how, pardon me, found out both about how things are going with her greenhouse. Identified that business opportunity for Calendra. Also asked questions about what a visit to Sheridan would look like. Um, the forest is nearby, but it might not be that easy to get to. You can't teleport there, and she can be a little difficult to speak to. Also, maybe she can read somebody's soul within 5 seconds of meeting them. Yeah, so that's cool. Um, and then Corinne and Grim and Erebus went to go forth and visit Aylan's and get some clothes commissioned for the Chiral Garden Party. Turns out it's not just spring and aesthetic. It's going to be magically daytime and it's also going to be warm weather. That should be fun. And when we left, the three of them were heading off to go check the Deepwater Isle drop sites again.
That's fabulous. Thank you. And it is the continued adventures of, I should click start recording. There we go. It is the continued adventures of Thursday, Uktar the 30th.
Sure is.
Dun, dun, dun.
Alrighty. So let's pick up with Eliana.
All right.
Eliana, when you come to, you're escorted pretty quickly by one of the acolytes, to the Court of Miracles, at which point you are escorted to a small, it's not a small, it's a fairly, no, it's small, let's be honest. Basically a apothecary kitchen. This is for the spot for making potions. Eliza kind of gives you a relieved look as you enter. You can see her fingers are stained green. She kind of gives you a look as you enter and waves a hand. Great. Good to have more people here. You can brew an antitoxin. Recipes on the board there. And she points to a large chalkboard where a fairly complicated potion has been put up. This is not a simple or straightforward potion, and you can see why she may have... Someone with some potions experience was quickly brought in.
Very, very good. What have they done this time? Eliana says as she starts preparing materials.
It seems like an entire keg of wine was spiked with something nasty, and it's real bad. So if you can just work on that with me, that would be fantastic.
Yes, I can do that.
Right.
By which ones?
We're still trying to figure it out. It was pretty evenly split as far as who was getting hurt.
Right.
And as a rule, the court doesn't ask very many questions. That's how we stay neutral in all of this.
Yeah. We treat everybody who comes in. That we lands in her ears, and her face goes blank for a minute, and then she keeps working again.
If Eliza noticed the we, she does not pay much attention. You notice that she does not leave the room, and in fact, there is a paladin standing at the door of the room. And acolytes running in and out to get you fresh supplies.
Yeah. Yeah, so with that, I think she settles in and gets fixes up her workstation the way she likes it and gets into a rhythm of chopping and mortar and pestle and combinations of ingredients.
Sure. You notice that it's Eliza, you, and there's a third woman there who is a well dressed. She looks like a noble woman. Um, well, she would look like a noble woman if she wasn't wearing like a heavy apron. Um, also very stained. She got curly black hair, kind of pulled back into a very messy. At this point, it can't even be described as a bun. It's just a mass. Um, and she is also brewing intensely. She does not seem to have noticed you entered.
Yeah, I think no, Aliana is she's pretty hard at work. Um, but eventually there is going to be some kind of a pause point, and so she'll cast her eyes over to that person and give her a wave.
Sure. Give me a second. Let's use one of the new dice. But it would be helpful if I grabbed a d20 and not a d12. Alright. She doesn't seem to notice you.
Okay.
She seems to be pretty in her own world.
That's fair. I think I think she's going to wait until there's like more of a stopping point.
Yeah.
Before interrupting.
Yeah, towards mid-morning, Eliza will... she'll nod to you and be like, all right, I think we can take a bit of a break. And you notice that she actually walks over to the table of the young noblewoman and kind of taps the table, like, in front of her, to get her attention. She looks up. Eliza flashes something in common sign language, causing her to nod, lean back, and kind of relax against the stool that she had not been using.
Aliana will step away, and then I think she will ask. She'll see if this woman understands spoken common. Are you new here, or am I?
She watches you for a moment and nods. I am not new here, but I don't work here very often. I have my own lab.
I see. Oh, I'm Aliana.
My friends call me Callie.
It's nice to meet you.
It is nice to meet you as well. Do you work here often?
Occasionally. I do adventuring work, but when we have time in between jobs, I come here to do work.
Very noble of you.
I don't like to be idle.
Neither do I. And she kind of motions to her clothes. You notice that her clothes are very finely made, much like Corinne's clothes, in fact, that they're, even if they are not fussy, they are definitely of a higher standard of material, and a very fine cut. And she kind of motions to it.
Well, noble of you as well.
No, I think it's the opposite of noble of me. She gives you a wink.
That depends.
You are Southern, correct?
Yes, I am.
I am as well. Not as far south as you, I am sure.
A bit further south than the the Lord's Alliance goes.
She nods a little bit. Oh, so, gang war. That is a thing that is happening, apparently.
Yes, I had thought that it was a typical gang war, but this goes beyond the typical.
I suppose it has a lot to do with how you would define typical.
Well, I've never seen such a vast amount of antitoxin needed for one of their feuds before. Used more to just something that's more within the ability of the City Watch to handle. Maybe that's naive of me.
The City Watch is probably doing their very best, and I'm sure that Eliza, what is that name? Eliza doesn't even look up. Order of the Gauntlet. You see Callie looking a little frustrated, and grabs something like an apple core or something and tosses it at her. Eliza catches it, looks up and looks at her and goes, "Order of the Gauntlet," and she nods. "Thank you. It's not that much to ask, I think."
No, and I think, at least the way that I grew up, and maybe it was the same for you, there was a lot going on invisibly that was like this.
Well, there's always something like this.
Yeah.
I am not in town long. I am just here for a quick meeting, but it felt like a good idea to check in.
Yes, well, maybe I'll see you some more depending on if you're here for the big meeting of all the factions.
She shrugs, seems non-committed. Not so much me. My husband does most of that.
All right. Maybe I'll see him for that then.
He is hard to miss.
A lot of people are.
Okay.
She kind of goes back in thought.
Yeah. Things start to wind down. Eventually Alina strolls in. She is not wearing armor. She is wearing, the sturdy clothes of someone who has been playing medic all day.
Yep. Alina!
Why, hello everyone. This is me formally thanking you for your work today and letting you know that you have saved many lives, and it is all due to you. Round of applause. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know that you are free to go about your business as you wish. We have finally wrapped up the large number of wounded who have come in today.
Eliana gives a very theatrical bow to Elena. Congratulations on the bitches part of Liches and Bitches.
There's a lot of them. Can we get back to the liches, please?
No.
Figured I'd ask. She'll, she'll give you a grin, kind of lean against the door. You see Callie start packing up, and she looks like she brought her own supplies, and you see some very high quality knives in her kit. It looks like her kit is probably bespoke.
Lenya looks impressed. She begins packing up and cleaning up as well.
Yeah, you guys all basically just start cleaning down your workspaces. Alina is there to help. Mostly just doing grunt work as she is told to do, as she is not to be trusted with anything resembling alchemist supplies.
Indeed, she is not. Come on, Eliana, ask. Yeah, she's gonna ask Callie, who are you married to?
His name is Versigo de Santos. He is a princeling. We have lands south of Eltegard.
Anybody who she's heard of?
Sure. Roll me a history check with advantage. You're from the south. And Eltegard is a neighbor-ish of
Okay, what are my modifiers again? That's a 14.
14. The name De Santos sounds familiar. Eltegard sounds familiar. Eltegard is actually it's a country, it's a kingdom, but it's more of a loose alliances of princes. Ruled from the city of Elturel, which is it's kind of a religious city. It's mostly devoted to paladins and Torm, but Elturgard, the principalities themselves have different views on religion depending on which part of the country you're in. The name De Santos sounds familiar. You don't remember from what, though?
Oh, I didn't travel through there, but just up the main road. I think I heard of some people talking about Ultra.
Probably went through Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, I did.
Most people go the coast way and not the trade way.
That's what I did. A little up and down the coastway from Baldur's Gate before getting all the way to Waterdeep.
She nods. Kind of picks up her bowl and slings it over her shoulder. Alright, I have a large family to get home to, so I am sure.
I'd best go as well. I'm going to go find my adventuring party. I left them rather abruptly this morning.
Well, always a good idea to let them know. I feel like adventurer parties, they get a little edgy when their members disappear.
Yeah, it's how I would feel if one of my friends went somewhere else without saying anything. Well, it was nice to meet you today.
It's nice to meet you as well. And she will.
Yeah, Lenya will keep on packing up and begin making her way forth.
Sounds good.
And there was a great baying of hellhounds in the distance.
Yeah.
Misha bounds up to her for pets.
Yeah. Misha might be on loan to the front gate. All right. As you head out, are you heading out back to try and meet up with the group, or what are you doing?
I think that she'll give Uriel a quick wave wherever he may be, but she's not gonna stick around for much longer. She's gonna try and rejoin the group.
Sounds good. Yeah, she is. He gives you a wave, but seems to be elbow deep in paperwork. He seems to be writing charts out.
Yeah, it's a busy day. This is not the time for a date. She's off to do her own things as well.
Sounds good.
I think she's gonna head for Aylan's because she knows everybody else is going there, and she was also planning to get her outfit commissioned.
And I think I left off with everyone leaving Aylan's. Was that correct? Am I remembering correctly?
That's my recollection. We had decided to head to Deepwater Island, but we were like having that conversation right outside of Ayland, so I don't think we'd gotten very far necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to wave my hand and say, "Yep, you run into the rest of the party at Aylan's."
What a delightful coincidence.
Yay.
Excellent. Hi everyone. Sorry I got
Oh, Eliana.
pretty quickly this morning.
Of course, is everything okay?
Well, a lot of Xanathar and Zents are not. They were poisoned. The Court of Miracles needed a lot of antitoxin brewed very quickly. Oh, there was a lot to do this morning. She flexes her fingers.
Poisons, both of them, and Grim would have waved when she arrived.
Yeah. Not sure whose idea it was, but they were both caught up in it.
Caught up in it in what way, please?
Poisoned.
Makes it the keep going gesture.
It was a big pot of mold that had the poison in it.
I'm sorry, what?
Eliana gives Corinne a knowing look. Yes, they're criminals. They do things to wine that are not. It was probably bad wine to start with.
You're just saying that to make me feel better.
Yes, I am.
Like, you don't know. They didn't tell you.
They didn't. I am just trying to help you feel better.
Oh, God.
Scoot, boys. I love you too. Scoot, scoot. Sorry.
They were drinking together?
It doesn't seem plausible.
Grim nods agreement.
Interesting.
Yeah,
This
there's
rivalry gets more complicated the more I hear about it.
When I'd heard that there were escalating hostilities, I just thought more stabbings in the streets. I didn't think poison and having to brew a lot of antitoxin. This is why, as much as I like doing work at the Court of Miracles, I can't be as neutral as they need somebody to be.
Do you think that they...
Right.
Do you think that there's someone who's trying to wipe out both or replace members of both simultaneously?
That starts with T and ends with a not.
Well, I don't know that I've gotten that far. Mostly I'm just thinking, it doesn't make any sense that they'd be collectively poisoned from the same wine barrel. Surely, if either was responsible for that sort of event, someone would have informed the rest of the collective so that the casualties would be minimized on one side or the other. If they're both equally ignorant, then there's a third party involved. It's the simplest solution.
It does seem strange to me, and I don't think it's specific. I think there are probably a few more steps before you get to that. I think just somebody stands to benefit from this. And who is it?
Not the winemaker.
No. Well, how's your morning been? Have you already been to see Aelin, or are you just finishing up with that?
We're just on our way out.
Picked clothes. Erebus still looks kind of stunned that she managed to make a decision about clothes that are supposed to be fancy.
Oh. She does a good job. I didn't have much of an idea of what I liked before I went to see her for the first time.
Do you want to stop really quickly since you're here?
Yeah, I think I'd like to duck in and talk about my outfit. It doesn't have to take long, and then I can rejoin you for whatever you're all planning on doing today, if it's a group thing.
We're going to Deepwater Island.
Yeah, it's a group thing.
Oh, check the drop sites.
Grim nods.
Excellent. I'm curious to find out what's there. Well, I won't waste more time. Be back in a moment, and Lanyo will duck into Aelin's shop.
Grim would like to insight check Corinne. How antsy is she? 12, not great.
I mean, like, there's nothing specific that she would really be looking for at Deepwater. I think I'm looking back through my notes. Like, the Zents haven't been to Deepwater. There's apparently some contested territory there, but they haven't made a presence there, so it's kind of unclear as to like how valuable that time would be.
So not too antsy?
No.
Delightful. I will lean against the wall and chill. It's not raining today, right? Am I remembering that correctly? It's
Yeah,
a relatively nice day.
Relatively nice. It's very chilly, but nice.
I lean against the wall and shiver a tiny bit, but fairly steadily.
Yeah. And so in the shop, Lenya will, I think, he's treading some of the same ground that was done in game. She'll ask about do's and don'ts for the. She'll ask about do's and don'ts for the party.
Mm-hmm.
And get started with designing her outfit. I think she's going for that cottagecore, but make it a suit. Aesthetic that I was beginning to experiment in chat a month or two ago. Confirms that I think she'll ask like whether dress for spring requires pastels or other flourishes that she considers to be too feminine for her liking.
Yeah, pastels and light colors are strongly recommended, as well as light fabrics, as it is going to be very warm.
Yeah. She makes a face about the pastels, but
she leans you towards, instead of like pinks and purples, definitely towards like a soft blue and a beautiful like minty green that might go well with your gold. She's definitely not gonna lead you away from the pinks and such.
Yeah, she likes those better. She does note that the gender expectations she grew up with are that pastels are for women and darker colors are for men, and that's that's the lens that she's bringing to.
Aelin will let you know that Elven society does not strongly identify male or female in any particular sense, for what it's worth.
Yeah. Yeah, she acknowledges that she is bringing some of her own baggage to these colors, but she likes some of like the blues and greens that Aelin is recommending. And so is going to get in the beginnings of an outfit designed and then make her give her thanks to Aelin.
Sure.
And make her exit.
Easy enough.
Yeah.
When she exits, Erebus kind of gives her a thumbs up with a questioning look accompanied.
Eliana gives a thumbs up, but also like a bit of a quirk of her mouth.
Erebus nods.
He sighs.
Fair enough. Closed are weird.
Aelin does good work. I just do not like these colors. Maybe I will be pleasantly surprised.
I mean, if you feel really strongly about it, maybe it's worth saying so now. I mean, I picked like a foresty green for my dress.
Oh.
Corinne kind of glances off to the side, like deliberately looking at not this conversation.
Incredible.
Well, I think I want to try it. And then if I don't like it, I don't need to wear it again.
You know what? That's fair. Okay. I like that approach.
Sorry.
All right, Deepwater Island.
Bosun is tapping on the door with his bill, invisibly.
Oh, that's so cute.
Sir, what are you doing?
He makes a chainsaw noise.
Are you saying would you like a bow tie?
He makes an enthusiastic chainsaw noise.
All right.
Grim is now also deliberately looking away from this conversation.
All right. First of all, you should probably be actually visible so she can take your measurements.
He becomes visible.
Delightful. Corinne scoops him up, opens the door, closes it behind her. Aelin.
Yes.
Sorry to bother you. Last minute order requests for this one. He would like to be part of the fun.
All the tentacles wave very happily, and he flaps his wings.
All right, a fancy suit for the puffin. And she'll come over and take some measurements.
Delightful.
Excellent. Corinne will also know. By the way, if I asked you, whatever scrap fabric you have, if you wouldn't mind making a variety of eye patches.
I love that plan.
In a number of colors. Again, it can be scrap fabric, it doesn't require a lot of anything. But, just options.
Options, of course. She looks so
Excellent.
pleased.
Monologue token, Aelin.
Oh, I've hated that dirty black ape eye patch for so long. I'm going to embroider them. There's going to be trim. I am so excited.
I'm so thrilled. So once the measurements are taken, thank you ever so much. How long do you think it'll be? We've got plenty of time before the actual event itself, but just wondered, from a timing perspective.
For you, maybe a couple days.
All right, fair enough. We'll see you in a few days then.
And she gives you a nod.
Yep, we'll wave and take her leave, still with Bosun in arms. Opens the door, closes behind her. Bosun is going to get a little spring puffin suit.
He makes a very happy noise and turns invisible again.
How does he feel about this?
I cannot wait to see what she comes up with it. Yeah.
A whole suit? I thought it was just going to be a bow tie.
Well, that's what my original idea was, and as soon as I walked in, I said he wanted to be part of the celebration, and she immediately went to a full suit. So he's getting a full suit. I find it best really not to argue with her when she gets an idea.
And friends. All right.
That's going to look amazing.
Congratulations, Bosun.
He is just sort of making his chainsaw noise basically nonstop now. It's like someone is cutting down a tree in the forest nearby, and just sort of flies around the group. Grim will push away from the wall. Oh, that's real bad. Is like visibly trying to be straight-faced, but it's not going well. Like they're not actually laughing, but like everyone in the group has passive insight plenty good enough to tell that they are actively fighting it. Shall we then?
Yes.
Brent is already gone.
Erebus is like, all right, off then.
You get used to it.
Fair enough.
Already heading south.
All right. You guys taking your boat, putting the boat in the water?
Yeah. Oh, we have
a
folding boat.
Yeah.
I had forgotten that. Yeah. We unfold the boat and put it in the water, or put it in the water and unfold the boat. I think is the order of operations.
That would be easier.
Oh. Erebus has probably seen this before, but I think that's amazing.
Erebus might not have. They're not super common.
That's true. Okay. It's pretty cool.
And yeah. Is there enough wind to set up the sail, or are we rowing?
No, there's enough wind. Plenty of wind.
Grim is very focused, but also visibly delighted. All aboard. Don't touch anything, Grim says to Erebus.
She gives him a thumbs up. And hops in.
On board we are.
And yeah, anything going on in the harbor that we should be aware of, or does it look pretty straightforward to get to Deepwater Island without going over the sea elf, like the long way again around the sea elf city?
Without going the long way around the sea elf city, it seems like.
Sorry, I double negatived myself there. Grim does not want to go over the sea elf city, so we'll take the long way around.
All right. Yeah, you definitely can take the long way around.
Delightful.
It's a bit chilly on the water, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Who's wearing a coat?
Oof.
Rin is always wearing. Yeah, Corinne is always wearing her cloak of invisibility, or her not invisibility, Elvenkind. That's the one.
Erebus has got on her green cloak as well.
Is Eliana wearing her hoodie?
She's got the long coat on.
Yes.
Oh, yes, the hoodie.
I mean, Grim is always wearing a jacket.
Yeah. So you guys are fine, but it's cold.
Unless it's actively hot out.
Like, chapped cheeks cold. Damn, maybe I should have grabbed my gloves cold.
Bianca's hiding in the hood.
Yeah. Yeah, I get
Bosun
the
drops into the water and paddles along.
Yeah, I feel like if it was any colder, Corinne would need a jacket. Because the cloak of Elvenkind probably is just like a regular weight.
Yeah, probably a regular weight wool, so you can wear it in the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a little chillier than the rest, but...
Yeah, that tracks.
Grim, like, flips their collar up. And they're sort of, like, hunched down into their jacket. But they're always cold anyway. Bosun is a puffin, he doesn't mind.
Love that for him.
I seem to remember last time we needed to go out, like leave the harbor and come in from the other side. Was that for a reason that
there
would
was a
affect us
party
today, or was that
a
just
party on the beach?
Oh,
and you guys were
that's
avoiding
right.
It.
That's right. Thank you.
It was also nighttime, in case that matters.
So we were trying to.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think there were some suspicious guards that we needed to allay the suspicions of.
So if there's not like a pressing reason, Grim would like skirt the Sea Elf City, but otherwise would go towards. I feel like the drop was over. This Harper drop was over here.
The Harper drop was there.
Okay.
I know there was a drop here. I think there was one here. I don't have my notes on it anymore because, of course, I don't. The Kyrell drop was here. And there was a few more just around.
I think they would sort of, if I'm remembering the Sea Elf City is correctly, sort of would.
Yes.
Go like that, like land basically on the party beach.
Yep, land on the party beach.
And then we can start with the Harper drop and work our way down the Isle if we want to, is Grim's approach, although certainly if other people have other approaches, they are open to that.
Sure.
I think Tanya's only request is that we might as well check all of them while we're here, but she doesn't have a preference about which order.
Corinne sighs audibly.
Grim is nodding agreement with the proposal.
If it's all the same to the rest of you, I'd really rather not check the drop site where the dead body was. I'm sure it's still dead.
Dead body?
We don't need
want to.
Oh, it's still in there.
You don't want to know if it has company?
Erebus is making a just like what kind of face.
I don't particularly want to know right now.
To be fair, I think you guys did give instructions on how to retrieve the body to several CLs.
We did.
Yeah. I don't
to the point,
probably about
honestly.
thinking that one again, though.
And besides, we have enough to keep us busy as it is.
Yes, we do.
Sure.
Start at one end if you want to have a bonfire on the beach while we check the others. You're quite welcome.
There's one other one that I'd like to look at. And then the rest of you can be on your way.
Alright. Land the boat on the party beach. Unless there's a party. Is there a party going on today?
There is no party going on today, no.
Delightful. I can't remember which side of the wall the Harper drop was on.
It's
But I
on
have
the
a
far side.
feeling it was the other one.
Yes. Most
Yeah.
of the drops are on the far side of the wall. The only one that I remember being on the inside part of the wall was the Kyrell drop.
Yes, that is correct.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and there were 4 drops on the far side and 3 on the near side. So 4 on this side, including the Harper drop over here, and then 3 on this side. One was the Chiral drop, one was a Caring Hands school drop, and the other one had nothing.
Delightful.
Once we get to the beach, Corinne, we'll go to the wall and start attempting to scale it.
Sure.
Grim will provide is not going to interfere, but will follow and be ready to offer a stirrup hands or a shoulder to step on, or basically we'll provide the help action.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you guys get over the wall.
Delightful.
It's easy enough. There's places where the wall is definitely climbable.
Delightful.
I guess it's easier if you're not worried about making noise.
And then Corinne will head to this side where the Harper drop is.
Sure.
And check it out.
The Harper drop is empty except for 1 single gold coin.
Anything special about it? Does it just look like just a standard gold coin?
It is a gold coin from... Give me a moment. Let me pull up the thing. Thank you. This is definitely the time I need you to be slow and not doing what I need to.
Good work, technology.
I had my notes. Where are my notes? There's a gold coin from Ruathan.
Do we know what?
Yeah, what's Ruathan?
What's Ruathan?
It is a island almost directly to the west.
Do I know anything about it?
Roll a history check.
18.
It's a very pretty island. Give me just a moment. It is... Actually, it's cold and a little desolate. Some branches and some farms, and a few small forests, but mostly it's barren and hard. It's full of this says, anonymous Harper agent says, fiercer than the moonshades, all cold and howling storms or chilling fogs over a land that's mostly peaks falling into sharp seas. Ranches and farms, yes, but a few small forests, and mostly barren and hard, like the folk who dwell here. War raiders who'd knife you as soon as trade with you. Why pay for your goods when they can take it for free? Not a pleasure destination. You also know that they were kind of recently at war with Luskin. Do with that information what you will. With that 18, give you a little bit of extra info.
I think I would ask to see the coin.
Yeah, Corinne will hand it over.
They'll sort of flip it casually a couple of times. You would hate it.
Well, that doesn't narrow it down very much. I would hate a lot of things.
It's always winter, and not as elegantly as Grim would remember where the cabin was, but Hannah doesn't.
Ah, yes.
Not as elegantly as the cabin.
So just a lot of snow and cold, and does anything live there?
Grim sort of shrugs. Some people. They're not very sociable. No, I think that's all.
Well, if it's that cold all the time, I suppose I wouldn't be very sociable either. I'd spend all my time in front of the fire.
DM, do I know if they have is it populous enough to have an army if they were recently at war with Luskan?
I mean, so recently means in the last few decades.
Okay. So maybe not anymore.
Maybe in Elven recently. They've got about 6,000 people. Let me just double check my numbers. Yeah, 6,000, about 6,000 inhabitants, so.
Okay. And are these is it rare to see money from Ruathan, or is that like there's just some of it in circulation? So it's not necessarily, it's striking but not unusual.
It's unusual because they tend to not spend money other than internally. How many of you watched Game of Thrones? The Iron Islands are very
okay.
What you should be picturing here.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know why this would be here.
Well, probably payment for services. Or information. Or something.
Bosun, I would like you to stay here invisibly and see who comes. And see what happens when they find it empty, please.
All right. Snaky.
We will come fetch you well before your bow tie is ready, if no one has come yet.
It's a full suit, first of all.
I forgot.
You look very dapper.
I'm sure he will. And I will scritch Bosun's ear tufts. Or like scritch the ear tufts of the air where Bosun is now invisibly chilling near the drop. All right. Next.
I don't know what everybody else is going to do, but Karina's going to skip to the drop where the Illatel necklace was.
Sure.
Which I think is the farthest east one.
Grim would peek at, I think that, so we'll walk past Grim's going to peek at the one where the Dead Sea Elf was, and we'll peek at the other one, which probably means that Corinne and anyone who's moving with Corinne will get ahead of them, but that's fine.
Lenya was hanging back during the Harper drop site, to, like, give Corinne and Grim some privacy while they dealt with Harper stuff. And so now she's moving along with the others to check the other sites on this side of the island.
Erebus is also a little bit curious about the dead body drop, but she is. But if no one else but Grim is going to check that one, she's not going to get too close. But she's kind of like, "What is happening?
Sure.
Why is there a dead body?"
There actually isn't. So when you go to check the dead body drop, it is empty.
Great.
Well, that's good.
so they picked it up.
And we'll move along to the other one in between here and the hotel drop as Corinne recedes into the distance.
What was that? The other one in between the two?
Oh, this is one of the love letters.
Oh, good memory.
Yeah.
I've got the notes right. I've got the notes pulled up.
Oh, good.
Good external memory.
Yep.
No wonder Corinne's blowing past it.
Yep. Addressed to my darling Ginia, which was vaguely familiar about a missing heiress, but hard to say. We did no further investigation.
We were busy.
There are new letters there, but they are addressed to the same person and contain mostly the same stuff.
Oh.
Interesting. Okay. Corinne didn't let anybody read them ones last time, did she?
No. God, no.
So which of us is actually checking this drop?
Erebus is checking no traps unless given explicit permission.
You want to do rollies
This is
for
not
it?
usually her
Sure.
jam.
Yeah,
Easier to hang.
Grim would, but is not like going to be like aggressive about it. So yeah, rollies. 16.
6.
Okay. Yeah. So Grim checks this. So it's more love letters to my darling Ginia.
Yeah.
Is that a name that brings anything to me?
Not really.
Okay. Grim will read a sentence or two aloud and then sort of page through the rest of the letters to confirm that that's like the remaining additional content, the rest of the content, like that there's nothing else going on. And then if not, we'll sort of fold them back into the envelope and attempt to make it like...
Yeah, it's a lot of like, once I'm
back,
finished with my business, I'll have enough money for us to have a fine house. Stuff.
And no, not signed by anyone, right? Remember that correctly?
Yep, not signed.
Oh, good luck to you. Grim says to no one in particular and puts the envelope back in the drop.
Oh, wow.
Is that usually what's in the drop?
We were not permitted to see what was in the drop last time, but
Oh, okay.
let me roll insight. Yeah, based on what I recall of Corinne's expression, yes.
Is Corinne not much for love letters?
We should catch up.
Okay.
And walks up.
Wait, monologue token. Monologue token. You know what? I think for Grim it's gonna be obvious, just like blank. Let's put it on Erebus. Just like,
Okay.
I want
You don't know, and now you never will.
it's fine.
But this sounds fun too.
Okay. Erebus, she kind of in the pause before Grim starts walking away, she's like, every so often I feel like I've said the wrong thing without knowing it, or maybe it's the right thing and I just shouldn't have said it, and I really can't anticipate what any of those moments are, and I probably shouldn't feel as self-conscious about it as I do, but also I do not understand, and I guess I just have to accept that. And then Grim walks away and she's like, okay, awesome, just go with it, that seems to be the motto, great, we're gonna do that. And that's the monologue.
Amazing.
Delightful.
I love her.
Like she's a completely
having
reasonable
time.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These two are just weirdos.
This is what Erebus is discovering. Like, she's not going to get the answer that she expects from either one of them. And it's great. I am delighted.
And I will give you Grims for free, which is just... I am trying to imagine what would happen, and I don't think I wish to continue imagining that.
Incredible. Oh my goodness. I
We
love
love
it.
our kids.
So what's going on?
Off to the next drop, I
It's
guess.
not the. I mean, I don't know if it's the. I'm thinking of it the Illatil drop. I don't think we have any to think it's actually an Illatil drop, but the drop formerly the site of an Illatil necklace. How about that?
Sure. The necklace
Mercury has
is
probably gotten first, I guess.
the necklace is missing.
Ooh.
And in its
Ooh.
place is a decorative little, like a little snuff box.
A snuff box?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any engraving of like initials or like a family seal or anything like that on it?
No, on it is a beautiful, let's say a peony, like a flower inlaid in it.
Is there any letter present?
There is not. Nope.
I'm jumping back between the previous notes and the current notes.
You guys want to see a picture of it?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, please.
Oh, it's
Ooh,
pretty.
That is pretty. Can I open the snuff box?
Yes, you can.
Is it just snuff?
Roll me. Okay, so let me look at a sheet so I can tell you what are options to rolls.
Okay.
I just gotta look at the skill list to see what will be relevant. So give me a second to open up a sheet.
Okay.
I thought you were gonna get an option of saving throws.
You can. So you
I mean,
can
you
roll
could.
me
We don't know yet.
Arcana. You can roll me history. You can roll me investigation. You can roll me medicine. You can roll me nature. You could roll me religion.
Wow.
Let's call it investigation.
Sounds good.
That's a 23.
This is diamond dust.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh. I'm not a spellcaster. I don't know what diamond dust can do other than that it's powdered diamonds. And it's definitely not snuff. So she's kind of studying the, how does it look like it's full? Is there any missing?
Oh, it's
like,
full.
What is...
Yeah, it's full.
Okay. Okay.
Yep, it's full.
Okay. Huh. She kind of looks over her shoulder to see if the others have caught up yet.
Lenya, I think, is on her way over.
Look, what do you all know about diamond dust? Other than it's powdered diamonds and an inferior form of diamonds.
I don't think that Lenya uses it as a spell component for anything, so... What does she know about it?
Arcana or religion?
I'm gonna go Arcana.
I am proficient in neither of those, and so I'm gonna opt not to roll.
16 Arcana.
Strong restorative spells. And some necromancy
yeah.
spells.
Well,
You use that for greater restoration spells. And probably also some necromancy. Resurrections and the like.
Huh. I knew that you used the regular full-formed diamonds for the resurrection magics. I remember that.
Yeah, I'm not sure under what circumstances you'd use diamond dust instead of the regular uncrushed diamonds for resurrections, but it feels familiar. Definitely for the greater restoration spells, though.
Well, I suppose there's. I don't know if this is how it works, but if one were to not necessarily need an entire human resurrection, or individual's resurrection, but only needs the husk of an individual, one only needs a powdered diamond.
I beg your pardon, Grim sort of jogs up now. The husk. What have you found?
Diamond dust in a snuff box.
And the husk of an individual? I thought you were not looking for dead bodies today.
No. So, Lenny was saying that diamond dust can be used in some necromantic spells involving resurrections, but from at least what I've seen, what we've prepared for, is that diamonds are it's the whole diamond that's used primarily for resurrection. And so I'm sort of wondering if, perhaps if you don't need the full functioning humanoid, you only need the husk of the humanoid, then the diamond dust would work just as well as sort of the substitute. You just need someone to run errands, I suppose, or bite someone's neck.
You also know that Glyph of Warding takes diamond dust, as well as non-detection also takes diamond dust. Those are the other big ones. Stone Skin, Greater Restoration, of course.
Grim is just sort of staring at Corinne at this after these needing someone to, if you just need someone to run errands or bite someone's neck, like equal parts like baffled and delighted.
And Erebus has caught up just in time to hear the last part of that sentence and is like, what is happening today?
Look, I'm not going to explain it again. It's diamond dust. It's bloody. It's
Okay.
stupid. It's the useless ground up. No one is going to consider this shiny diamond dust.
Okay. Great. No questions. The look on her face is like there are some questions, but we're not gonna pursue them.
Fair. DM, real quick. The necklace of Lady Illatel, was it a diamond necklace?
It was.
Oh.
Ooh.
And Corinne has written to Lord Illatel to ask to borrow that necklace, but hasn't received a response. Am I remembering that correctly?
No, the conversation hasn't happened yet. Like they've made vague reference to like we should do brunch sometime in that kind of way that like
That's
you
fun.
text your friends like, hey, we should hang out sometime, and then you actually don't do anything about it for another 3 weeks.
That's right. You told us that you were thinking of borrowing the necklace.
Yes.
Carry on.
Yes.
For what it's worth, the necklace that was at the drop previously had several diamonds in it. Not just...
That's fun.
So like one large diamond and a couple of smaller ones. This snuff box contains probably not all of those diamonds worth.
That's fun.
Or none of those diamonds worth, because she could have gotten other dust, or this might be none related at all.
Yeah.
So, yep. Lots of possibilities.
But yeah, lots of spells. Couple of interesting spells involved with diamond dust, including Glyph of Warding, Non-Detection, and Greater Restoration.
Cool.
Well, I'm going to return this. That's some interesting information. She kind of like wipes it on her cloak to remove any fingerprints, and then carefully places it back in the drop site.
Sounds good.
Very good. I think that's all the sites on this side of the island. Shall we go back and check the other ones?
Over and back up the opposite side.
Yeah.
Climb the wall.
Climb the wall. Yeah, easy enough. Find a good spot for climbing and climb it.
And I think that puts us not far from the Kyrell drop.
Sure.
Well, which was the only one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was one of the only ones on that side.
Delightful.
There is the Caring Hands school drop.
Oh, right.
True. There was
That
the
small
Caring Hands
detail.
school drop.
Oh yeah, we should probably check that one. I'm sure it's fine.
Corinna's checking none of these drops. She has done the work that she came here to do, and now is just enjoying the scenery.
All right. So which one are you checking first?
Caring Hands, I guess.
Yeah, I think that one was a little bit farther. Yeah, let's do that one first.
Sure.
Agree.
You check the Caring Hands
Yeah,
school
Erebus will
drop.
go with them, just doesn't have any particularly interest.
Sure. You check the Caring Hands school drop. It is empty and barren and dusty. This has not been touched in a little bit of time.
Eliana stamps that down.
Well, that's promising.
Yeah. I was a little scared about finding something unsavory.
Great old ones rising from the sea.
That, yeah.
Not today. At least not here. Maybe somewhere else.
Not
I hope.
today.
Or away. Grimm's gonna pause and like scan. They're facing the harbor at this point. Scan the harbor for any great old ones rising from the sea.
Sure. Roll a perception check.
And watching them in particular. 15.
15. You don't see anything in particular.
Nods decisively. Not today. Eliana is going to tell Erebus. Turn to her and fill her in. Right, this was a drop site being used by a school that was a front for Mind Flayer activity. We got it shut down.
Oh, good.
And
okay, so
then
the fact that it's not being
reopened
active
again.
is a good thing.
Under different management.
Oh. Good management?
Yes.
Okay. So this is a good sign.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Great. Good. Thank you for the explanation.
We proceed to the Kyrell drop. Scoping it out just to make sure that see if there's any, but make sure there's not like a guard that's been left there.
Sure.
Because the Kyrell seem not necessarily above that.
You do not see anyone there.
I feel like this one was like over the edge, like and down a little bit ways, if I'm remembering correctly. So Grim will like get down on their belly and will like reach over the cliff and sort of feel around for it.
Okay. Your hands touch something soft.
What kind of soft?
Like a flower.
Okay. Can I scoot out a little further to try, like, can I scoot out a little further to try to peek at it without toppling headfirst into the spray? Or do I need to risk toppling headfirst into the spray to have a look at it?
You can.
Okay, I will do so.
Yeah. You see a rose. Give me a moment. I'm just gonna find a picture of the rose that I wanted to show you. Because there's a particular one. It's specific.
Oh.
You find basically this rose, and in the center of it, pierced, is a black dagger.
Ooh.
Oh. So like stuck to the cliff with a with the dagger?
Yeah.
Not growing out of the cliff. Okay.
It's not growing out of the cliff. This flower is not native or in
Yeah.
season.
Grim will try to work it loose.
Mm-hmm.
And without dropping the whole thing into the water, and pull it up for closer inspection.
Sure.
Anything distinctive about the knife? Other than being black?
It looks... Let me grab a picture of something similar. Sorry, I'm looking for good examples.
Sure.
So that, you know.
And Grim will show Eliana and Erebus once they have it back up above on solid ground.
It's actually not
we'll show
a
Corinne if she's
dagger.
in the vicinity, but I don't know if she's looking for Rosen or not.
Yeah.
She is like just kind of like hanging out nearby, not like
Okay.
surrounding the drop itself, but just like casually observing.
Well, that looks like a threat.
Give me a second. I'm gonna find the right dagger because I'm
Sure.
remembering a word, and you know those words that you've like seen written a few times, and now you're like,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
because it's called it's not I want to say anathema, but that's not actually what it's called.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean, but I also can't remember the word. It does a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, what's it fucking... Let's see, let's look up onyx, because... I can't find it. What the frick? What the frickety frack?
What word / up are you looking for?
A ceremonial dagger that is used in witchcraft practices.
I don't know how to pronounce it, but I just dropped something in dropped a word in the chat that might be the one.
Athame! Yes, thank you. That is the word I was looking for. Thank you very much. That was, in fact, the word I was
Thank you,
looking for.
Google.
Yay, Google. Because it was like, did you mean black?
Yay.
Did you mean Black Anathema? The song?
Oh, no.
Do. Sorry, my mouse is dying, which is not helping me look for things.
Non-optimal.
Alright. There. That's similar to what it looks like.
Ooh. Oh.
Spooky.
It's very spooky.
Yeah. I would say that is a very particular kind of threat.
Is it another cult?
Don't tell Lena.
Is there any particular significance of that color of rose?
Maybe the sign of the Chiral family isn't a rose, is it?
Do we know that?
You can roll me a history check.
21 for Corinne.
6 for Graham. Checks out.
Yeah, that's only, I think, a 10 for Lenya.
Erebus, are you rolling?
I'll roll. I don't know that Erebus would know anything about the Chirels. I was wondering if I could do like a nature check to see if Erebus knows anything about that particular rose.
Sure.
Flower language.
Okay. That's gonna be a nat one.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
That's the opposite of what I thought you were gonna say.
Erebus is very off her game today, apparently, and these dice are fired. Awesome.
Failed the audition. Corinne.
That's all right. I got 2 more sets.
Corinne, you know that the House Chirel symbol is in fact a rose, and that they are often the women in the family are called the roses of House Chirel.
Oh, well, shit. Is this a threat against Pyria?
Could be.
Which one is it, Heather?
Pyria.
Corinne would know. Is this a threat against Pyria?
I hope not.
Seems most likely.
Why would someone threaten
It
that
could
one?
be one. It could be one of the others who isn't as nice.
It could be, but it's not going to... Which one do you think is going to hurt the Chirel family the most if something happens to them? Say is not really in good shape with her family. Her elder sister is intimidating as hell, and honestly, I would not like my odds in a fight against her. Which leaves Pyria.
Grim
And we were recently told to keep an eye on her, were we not?
And
We
she
were?
she has that bodyguard.
Oh, you weren't there for that conversation. I'd forgotten. Alistair came to visit me during, when was it? I think it was lunch service? I don't remember. A few days ago, though. Yesterday? Recently. And said something about keeping an eye on Pyria.
He was that person that was with you yesterday.
Yesterday, yes. Yes. Yes, Alistair asked me to keep an eye on her.
Oh.
Did he say why?
He did not. Honestly, I was a bit surprised
mysterious.
Should I put it back?
I would, if only because I'm not certain if they have seen the message.
Should we leave a different message?
Why would we leave a different message?
I think they can be more prepared for it if they see it and they don't have what was originally intended. I wouldn't want to interfere with this. I would want it.
Grim has the expression of they definitely want to interfere with this, but they can't quite figure out how.
I would want. Maybe. Would it be our place to do something if there is an attempt at a serious threat against Pyria?
Here's an idea. What if, and hear me out, we... oh, Rowena. So what if, and hear me out, what if we got in touch with Say, or Alina, or literally anyone who knows anyone else in that family? We have multiple options in front of us.
That's not a bad idea.
That's better. We don't have to do this ourselves.
Let's take it to Say.
Heather, is Say in town?
Say,
vaguely.
Say is in town.
Okay. She's supposed to be staying at Chapter House, well, but maybe.
Yeah, she's currently living in Alina's apartment.
She's a mom.
She's a mom. Yeah, she's living in Alina's apartment.
That's right.
She seems
Got
to
a
be
baby tiefling.
got a baby tiefling, and yeah, she's establishing, probably getting assigned to a probably and or is getting assigned to the chapter house for Waterdeep after it's rebuilt.
Okay, cool. So I think we take another visit to the Court of Miracles. Apologies for taking you back there again today, Lenya, unless you'd prefer not to go. I'm happy to run the errand myself. That seems the most efficient way to go about it. Unless, glances towards Grim, you'd like to message him before we get there. Your call, though.
I could, but I think it would be a difficult thing to explain in 25 words.
It's fair.
And the blade may be relevant.
Again, I have to ask, is it a cult thing?
Probably.
Elena will say yes.
Well, we probably should
Seems
ask someone
likely.
else. Just to get an unbiased opinion.
Grim will hand the rose and the and has not like would have tried to remove them as a unit.
Yeah. Oh, it's easy. The rose is speared through with this dagger.
Yeah. We'll hand the dagger to Corinne.
What exactly are... I'm not keeping this, we're putting this back, right?
I thought we wanted to show it to say.
We can describe it.
Is it as intricate as these? Like, does it look like there's anything about the blade itself that might be significant? Or is it, does it seem like describing it will be sufficient?
Could describe it. If any of you have any illusion magic or prestidigitation, you can make a version of it. Could sketch it if you wanted to. Like, there is a design to it, but it also doesn't look like it might be super relevant, but you never know.
Okay. I'll try to sketch it.
You're proficient in calligrapher's tools, so I'll give you that. You can definitely make a decent sketch
I am
of
not. I'm proficient in cartographer's tools.
Oh, cartographer's. Still, it's drawing. It's drawing. I don't want to be like drawing is drawing, but you know how to...
It's math.
You know how to make a decent sketch of what you see.
Okay. Grim will sketch it, and we'll sort of offer the sketch to the group in general, since it is not a pointy blade.
Corinne will stab the rose back into the cliffside.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Are we done here then?
I was about to ask you all the same question.
I mean, and when you all are done.
We'll look at Eliana.
Sorry, Kat. Yeah, there was one more site on this island that was empty the last time that we were here. So I think I want to check that one just for thoroughness' sake, and then to the Court of Miracles.
Okay.
And Lenya will she'll take the lead on checking the site that was empty the first time around.
Yeah, it remains empty and unused.
All right. She will cover it up again and then get ready to go.
All right. Back in the boat, heading back towards the docks. Roll on up to a dock, hop out, fold the boat back up,
Like the dock
put it in the
master's.
haversack.
The dock master's like heading towards your direction to get the dock fee, and then you fold up your boat, and he just looks at you, and he walks away. Just shakes his head and walks away. Like, not today. I don't get paid enough.
Oops.
I'm ignoring this completely. We'll turn towards the group. I had another errand to run while in the dock. I can meet you all back at the call later, or at the court.
Very well. I'd like to head to the court to get that taken care of. Who has the sketch?
Grim would have offered it to the group in general, so any of you who wanted to take it from them.
Okay. Corinne will have it then. If anyone else would care to join me, you're more than welcome to. Otherwise, we'll see you back at the call.
Lenya will join Corinne.
Delightful. Then we'll give the group a jaunty wave and we'll head towards the tangled anchor.
Eliana waves back to Grim.
And the rest of us head.
So does Erebus.
I was gonna say, Erebus, are you heading with us to the Court of Miracles as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that was what Erebus intended to do.
Okay, cool. Then we head on.
Alright. Yeah, head to the Court of Miracles.
Restroom break?
Sure.
Sure.
Let's take a 5-minute break.
Thank you.
See you in 5.
Awesome.
What do you want for dinner tomorrow night? Babe?
Huh?
So we only have 2 HelloFresh meals left.
You sure? We got 3.
We have the one that needs the zucchini. And we're just gonna make it into fancy rice because at this point most of the vegetables have gone bad in it.
Uh-huh.
And we're gonna serve it with the honey pork chops. And we have the lettuce wraps.
Okay. And we normally eat out twice in the week?
I was asking which meal you want this week or tomorrow.
Oh,
Pull out the meat for it.
Oh, tomorrow. Let's do the one with all the fancy extra junk because
Chops it is.
yeah.
I figured while I was eating dinner as well. bunch. Put these in a fucking binder.
We had one. At one point.
At one point.
We probably have a few in our binders upstairs.
Probably do.
For punching holes in printed paper so we can put them into things. We probably also have a 3 binder upstairs somewhere.
Probably do. I wouldn't mind having it. At this point, we've got a bunch of recipes.
I can tell you that we have extra chicken that we haven't used yet.
Yeah?
Or extra meat.
It's extra pork chops.
Okay.
We have more pork chops than anticipated. Anyway. Probably cancel HelloFresh for a bit and just use these recipes to figure out what meals for the week are going to be. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you.
So I have to pick y'all's brains about something that has nothing to do with D&D while we wait for everyone to get back.
Oh.
So I don't throw away my HelloFresh recipes.
Yep.
Because
they're recipes and you can use them again.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. At a certain point, are you supposed to cancel HelloFresh and just use all the recipes they give you? Because, like...
I mean, up to you. I know that's what Simone did because she felt like she was seeing the same recipes over and over again, but
yeah.
if it's helpful to you to, like, have the ingredients portioned out, then stick with it.
Yeah, I feel like there's the part where it's helpful for some people to have the, like, here is an introduction to cooking. And then there's the part where it's helpful to some people because it's like everything appears at your door and the executive function is taken care of. And, like, at some point, just having the recipes is sufficient to cover the other one.
Yeah, that's where I'm kind of at.
But like, not both of them, yeah.
I might make a project out of going through all of these recipes and organizing them and getting rid of duplicates and making, like, I don't know, a HelloFresh cookbook based off of all these damn recipes. Because, like, there's a bunch. Enough that I can go, they changed their paper quality.
Mm-hmm. I kept them for a while, and then I was like, this is not... I have a system for tracking recipes, and it's not having a million loose pages in my kitchen.
Yeah,
so I stopped.
we have a place that they go, so, like, they they just get stacked a place. So I had it was, and it's such a nice place that I hadn't really ever bothered going through it until I looked at it today, and I'm like, oh boy, this is a whole ass lot. Like, some of these I don't even remember. And of course, a lot of these are duplicates. Like, I don't need 3 recipes for meatloaf a la mom.
I guess it depends on how many moms you have and whether they make different kinds of meatloaf.
Well, they're the same meatloaf, same side and everything. Like,
yeah.
if it was different, then I'd...
Alina might need 2.
There are some recipes that look the same but are different. But that one is the only one that's not different.
Anyway, yeah, I just was like, what's this? And then I was like, oh shit, there's a lot of them. I remember liking some of these a lot, and I'm like, oh, I need to make that again. Like
They are nice instruction cards as they go.
They really are. I like that. I really like that they're all like, here is the meal. Here is the whole last meal and how to make the whole last meal all at the same time. And I think that's the big thing for me.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, here's 5 different recipes that you have to balance in your head. It's like, no. Step 1, prep these 5 things.
Yeah. Like, I would still often find it to be, like, too much of an executive functioning suck because, like, chop all of these vegetables. Okay, now this doesn't take 30 minutes like you say it does. Now it takes an hour.
You have to, they kind of assume you're a good chef when they make the guesses for how long it's actually going to take. So I'm like, okay, honey, it's going to take me more than 10 minutes to chop 15 different types of vegetables. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright. I might be putting together a HelloFresh recipe book. All these damn recipes. I gotta figure out how to organize it, if I'm gonna order it by easiest to hardest, or meat type, or what. Anyway, so, you guys are heading to the Court of Miracles?
Yeah. Except for Grim, who is heading to the Tangle Anchor.
Yes.
Indeed.
Alright, easy enough, easy enough. You guys get to the Court of Miracles. It's starting to calm down now. The storm has passed, and now it's mostly, like, cleanup. And prep, because the High Holy Day is literally tomorrow. As
Yep.
they are pulling double duty at being busy.
Yeah, it's too bad that crime factions don't schedule their feuds around the Raven Queen High Holy Day.
Really, really should. Be more convenient for everyone.
Yeah. Like, who do they think is going to be helping them out of? Oh,
For real.
yeah.
Right? Certainly they couldn't anticipate the healers being too busy to help, and that certainly wouldn't have a knock-on effect or anything. Alright, so. Yeah, you head in. Where are you gonna try and find, say, at Alina's apartment, or?
Yeah, I think that's kind of where Corinna's focusing her search.
Okay.
I think Eliana gives a glance over to the sparring field, but if that proves to be empty, she will continue on the hunt for the apartments.
Just listen for gunshots. Not incorrect. Yeah, you, no gunshots. The sparring field seems pretty empty. It looks like a lot of people are out and about, but if they're out and about, they're kind of... They're doing prep. They're getting uniforms and gear ready for inspection. They're making things look pretty. They're cleaning up after having 2 gangs run through their damn living room, more or less. So, yeah, you guys head to Elena's apartment. Have you guys been to Elena's apartment before?
I don't think
I don't think so.
I don't think you have either.
I think the only apartment we've seen is Uriel's, and where we, I mean Eliana.
Yeah.
I know the furniture to expect there, but that's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, no, because she got rid of all that furniture.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. She just got rid of it for cleaning day. Yeah, and Erebus has seen none of the living areas at the Core of Miracles ever.
Sure. So you head to the apartment building. Doesn't seem like it feels like too modern of a word, but it really is what it is. Expanded living quarters for the priests and healers and the people who call the Court of Miracles home full time. Yeah, head there, and you know where Alina's apartment is, because it's right next to Uriel's. Knocking on the door, or just heading right in?
Corinne will knock.
I mean, both are valid. Picking the lock would be also valid. In that
Options.
Options. Right, so you head in. Or you knock on the door, rather. And
Yes.
Say is actually the one who opens it. She's actually, probably this is the most naked you guys have ever seen her. In that she's wearing only pants and a shirt and boots. And is not in fact covered from like chin to toes. Her hair is pulled.
Erebus does not think this is unusual. But
No.
I'm sure that
It's she kind of nods to you all and kind of moves away from the door just to let you all in.
Yep. Corinne will enter. Mentally noting, like, oh, Say does have a collarbone.
Incredible.
And observation.
Yeah. Aliana looks a little. I think she also makes a similar mental note, and then she heads on in.
And wrists, even, because Say
And
wears gloves.
Erebus will bring up the rear.
Yes.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, she has
Yeah, Erebus will bring up the rear.
Yeah.
hands made of
one
skin.
very buttoned up, from one very buttoned up person to another.
Has hands made of skin.
That's upsetting.
It's one of those like too specific descriptions that people post.
Yeah. I think people are mostly made of meat energy.
Yes.
The
People are made of meat.
Wow.
he had two eyeballs which both were in his head in the usual place.
Yeah. It's just like you're not wrong, but also why?
You need to specify.
Yep.
Sorry, I love those descriptions. I try to pepper them in when I can.
But were they orbs?
She kind of stands away from the door, motions you all in. The apartment is... So, the Court of Miracles is... It's not dark, but it's always kind of a little overcast, because it's easy to forget you guys are very deep underground. But... Her apartment is light and airy, like it's a summer goddamn day in that apartment. Everything is... she has leaned in, like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, this is a live, laugh, love apartment without all of the live, laugh, love signs. Like, it is coordinated. This is out of a magazine. Light-colored floors, matching pottery with plants spilling out of them. This is a very pretty apartment.
Ooh. This looks so nice. I love your place.
Say kind of grins at that. Right. I have nothing to do with this. This is all Alina.
Well, I love Alina's place, and Alina has good taste.
She definitely
Is it going
does.
to look like this next season?
No, she flips them. So in the summertime, it looks like a warm, cozy getaway that's just a little too cold, so that you can appreciate the winter in the summer and the summer in the winter. She's very specific. Yes, yes, Liz, that is the exact vibe.
Yep.
Lovely.
Corinne will just get right to the point. So have you checked in on your sister lately? Your younger sister?
Not recently, but we have dinner once a week or so.
Is that dinner coming up soon?
Yes, I think in a couple of days. I hadn't introduced anyone to Penny yet, so we were getting there.
If I told you that someone had stabbed a rose at your founding's drop site on Deepwater Isle with a black, a black ceremonial dagger that looks like this, and we'll display the picture. Would that encourage you to smooth your dinner date up a bit?
Certainly would. Damn. That's not subtle. What color rose?
Sort of this peachy pink.
She pauses for a moment. Like more of an tangerine or orange?
That's an orangey, peachy. It looks like a ripe peach.
Right. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Fine. Okay. She looks a little shaken and a little confused.
Does it make a difference what color it is?
It does, because each of us have, like, our personal emblems are different colors of roses.
And whose is the peach one?
So, Peria's is a white rose for innocence and sweetness and all that, and my sister... Oh my god, Heather is blanking on the name. What the fuck? My sister Ratha is...
Ratha.
Oh my god, what even? I should have caffeinated today, guys. Ratha is a red...
It's okay.
Ratha's a red rose for, you know, the passion and loyalty and deep...
Intensity.
And, the orange rose is me.
Oh. Well, I suppose watch your back then.
Fair enough. Good to know.
Quick question. What is it normal for people to leave messages for you at that particular place?
At Deepwater Isle?
Yes, that one.
No, not for me. At least not directly for me. Probably for my family. Interesting. Would you like some tea?
Huh. Sure.
She heads to the kitchen. Misha barks at something out the window.
Yeah, that tracks.
Oh, Erebus,
Corinne
a
goes over to-
large Great Dane / pit bull / junkyard dog, as you look around, is lounging on a couch.
Pupper.
He is a big pupper.
Erebus immediately looks at Say and is like, does this one like pets?
That's Misha, and he loves them. Misha loves two things in this world, pets
and
and
Erebus
balls.
goes over to Say. Fantastic. Erebus will go over to say hello to Misha.
Yeah, Misha is immediately licking your face.
Yes.
He doesn't know you,
excellent.
but you're his best friend.
Perfect. Erebus is into it. Dogs are so much simpler than beings. Other beings.
Yeah, Say begins making tea.
Corinne will will sit on like the other end of the couch from Misha. And by
Corinne
the
does
other
not
end of the
appreciate
couch, I
this,
mean the like the 6 inches of space that Misha has left on the one end of the couch. Because
Incredible.
we all know how big dogs work.
Yes.
Yeah.
She kind of like tucks her knees up and is like scritching Misha's butt. And she will ask, out of curiosity, have you any concerns about Peria's well-being? 'Cause I've heard from a friend to keep an eye out for her.
Not anything specific, but she's a good kid and a bit trusting.
Huh. Indeed. The reason I ask, because if someone has told me to keep an eye out for her, and someone else has left a threat for you at your family's drop site, is there any reason that perhaps the entire sisterhood of the Kyrells, so to speak, is potentially at risk?
They seem to be going for the good kids first. And she laughs a little bit at that.
One must start somewhere, I suppose.
And that they don't know us very well.
Eliana raises her eyebrow at the phrase Sisterhood of the Kyrells.
It's not well known how close or not close I am with my family. I don't quite advertise that. From the outside, as someone isn't looking that closely, I do look like the kid that made good. Upstanding member of the Lord's Alliance, gunslinger, decorated adventurer. He shrugs.
Right.
Imperi is a cleric, so an acolyte at least.
Indeed. Do you recognize anything about this dagger in particular? It's onyx black, sort of. I don't want to suggest to Alina that it may be a cult, because I'm afraid that she will inevitably agree that yes, in fact, it is a cult, because everything is a cult, and that's just how...
Why don't we just not tell Alina that my symbol was found with a black dagger in the middle of it?
Oh, I wouldn't dream of it. I'm actually asking, like, do you know, is there any significance to that sort of dagger? Is it in fact a cult symbol? I would really
don't know. I would assume... Honestly, this is definitely not a message meant for me. I assume that its recipient might understand it better than I do.
Well, that's fair.
Well, we did leave it there.
Good. I'm sure my grandfather will be happy to
So
get
presumably that person... Oh. Okay.
Well, not happy to get it. I mean that he'll receive it, and he'll do whatever he's going to do about it. I don't stick my nose in his business very far.
Okay.
Tend to avoid it, to be honest. More problems like this.
That seems wise.
It's really not. I just go find my own problems to bring on my head.
Well, if you're going to have problems
of your own choosing.
She'll come back with a pot of tea and like these very delicate little cups. This does not look like a tea set that you all are very familiar with. The style of tea set looks different and interesting.
Is it elvish, perhaps?
Give me a moment. Doop, doop, doop. Not quite elvish. It is what we would consider a Japanese tea set.
Ah.
How does this tea set work?
Same as most, just doesn't have any handles. It was a gift from Konane when I moved in here and gave up adventuring. There's a little housewarming party. Everyone's been very supportive. Though I think everyone wants to find a house to live in together. That's certainly a choice they are considering. And she'll pour tea for everyone.
Corinne looks vaguely horrified at the suggestion.
That's ambitious, and maybe for them not a great idea.
They mean well.
Of course.
But she'll pour tea for everyone. It is a very fragrant tea, not something you would normally get where you currently are in Waterdeep. Maybe if you went out searching for it, Eliana might get something like this, but definitely not something common.
That's lovely.
That's fun.
So I am being drawn back into my family's...
Yes, thank you very much.
Of course. So I'm being drawn back into my family's business. At the same time as there's a gang war between the Zents and the Xanathars Guild.
Indeed. Are you entirely convinced that it's an accident? This whole gang war?
I mean, gang wars are never an accident. I'm not entirely convinced that they're fighting each other, or so much that they're fighting each other more than... They're always fighting each other, but sometimes things can be egged on.
Right? Especially when someone... If it is... Corinne kind of, like, looks heavenwards a little bit in a, like, God's help me as I say this. If it is true that someone poisoned a barrel of wine and both partook, then that does not seem to me that either was responsible.
Right. It seemed a bit suspicious to me as well.
Have you heard anything from eavesdropping or what Alina has said in terms of the circumstances, or is it just sort of the injured appeared and that was the information given?
Unfortunately, they do not ask follow-up questions, as I have been told several times trying to investigate.
Why?
Because
Why?
They are keeping the illusion of being absolutely neutral in everything. I hate it as well.
But there's no such thing as true neutrality in this situation.
There really isn't. There really isn't. Especially, I believe, if you go ask Ilya, she would have similar frustrated opinions.
Yes. I tried to get information this morning, but none was forthcoming for those reasons.
Well, it's the day before the Feast of the Moon. It was early this morning that people started coming in. What happened last night? Any sort of big events, occurrences of note? Was there a wine shipment coming in? Anything that could potentially point to a place that's a starting point? Do the gangs pre-game, I suppose?
Is there, like, neutral ground that they might have in common?
Right.
She kind of thinks for a moment. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I know very little. To be honest, I've not actually spent a lot of time in Waterdeep, not since I was younger. And even then I tried to stay away from the less savory parts of business, just... My name itself was a big enough target.
Perhaps Ilya knows, or knows someone who
Right,
knows.
certainly.
Is she occupied today?
I think she's in meetings most of the days, but you could definitely try.
Alright, I may just leave her a note. I don't want to interrupt her further. Beyond the dragon business, which maybe it's related, I don't know.
Kitty, I'm sorry, Kitty.
If there's a bar, it would be in the Dark Ward. If it was the same bar, even. We don't even know if it's the same bar. Could have been two separate tasks.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, you can poison two different bars. You really can. It's not that difficult. Bars are very easy to poison. I didn't say that.
That is true.
Really shouldn't be thinking like that.
Doesn't necessarily need to... Well, I mean, considering how bizarre this whole thing has been, it sounds like any possibility is a decent enough theory.
Seems, here's the thing though, if it's multiple bars and it's multiple... So, alright, if you're hitting 2 bars, you're going to need to hit multiple barrels of wine. You can't control for who's present and drinks that. Have you had people in here who were outside of the Xanathar and the Zents who were poisoned?
Certainly there was at least a bar that had people in it that were poisoned. Several of them were members of those factions, several of them were just shady fucks. But I got escorted out of the medical ring when I started asking a little too many questions and stopped carrying stretchers like I was supposed to be doing.
Interesting.
Myra doesn't...
They give the name of the bar.
So does that mean it's...
Skewered Dragon, I think. Which is sketchy already.
Because of the name or because of the people the bar serves?
Yes, but also just the bar itself is very sketchy.
I mean, if you're gonna call your bar the Skewered Dragon, that's definitely not a name you give a place lightly.
It's like barely a bar, to be honest.
I would think it's the kind of name that you give to one of those establishments where they pretend that they killed a dragon, but it's really just some unfortunate lizard.
You really have to go to experience
That makes
sense. to be, to understand quite the atmosphere.
Floors are sticky, aren't they?
The floors, the bar, everything is sticky. It's definitely one of the reasons I started wearing gloves. Turns out I'm very picky about my skin touching things. That's why I usually wear gloves on all of the time.
Well, if it's sticky things, I would understand that.
I don't blame you.
Ugh.
Sticky, wet, the smell never comes off. I've been adventuring long enough to run into all of those things.
Eliana makes a face.
Right, so at least we have a starting point, it sounds
Erebus
like.
just kind of nods knowingly. Yes. Okay. I do wonder if it was the bar itself as opposed to just the Xanathars and the Zents.
That doesn't make sense, right? If it was the Zents or the Xanathar, you would think that they would, at a minimum, have coordinated well enough to warn their own that this was going to be happening.
You would think that.
Right, that's why I'm wondering if it was... Or...
The Xanathars and the Zents.
I think there's a
go ahead.
couple of different I think there's a couple of different possibilities here. It could be that it was one of them, and they, for some reason, decided that it was worth it to make it look like it wasn't them for some reason. I don't know. I don't know any of these
Which
people.
would point towards
the other theory is that
Xanathars
they're not the target at all.
The Xanath, I would say
and-
that's, yeah, the kind of thing the Xanathars would do.
Okay, so then maybe it is them.
Xanathar have been decimated. There was already an incident down in Skullport where their numbers had been halved by doppelgangers and imposters who had taken over their fort. Why would they, when they're already thin in numbers, why would they remove more?
Fair enough. Would make them an easier target. I'm also considering the fact that so far we have active threats against the Xanathar's Guild, the Zentarum, and now House Kyrell.
So maybe it's someone else entirely.
She shrugs.
And who benefits the most?
Well, all our criminal networks, essentially. Someone could potentially be, perhaps part of the side of the law who is maybe a bit too ambitious and wants to wipe them all out in one fell swoop. It's a stretch. I don't think that's necessarily what it is, but that is a possibility. It also
but maybe
could be
striking a decisive attack. It wouldn't wipe them out, but it would be pretty significant.
And it could be someone on the other side of things. So it could be someone who's incredibly law-abiding, or it could be somebody who is hankering to enter in on that territory and wants to be able to narrow down the field a bit to gain the upper hand and take essentially the entirety of the underworld of Waterdeep.
I could see either, but I'm possibly leaning toward the second one just because of the nature of the situation. And again, this is just speculation because we don't really know and we can't ask questions. Or at least we haven't been able to. We could. Court of Miracles could. But I just think that someone who was trying to do, like, if it was some kind of law-abiding rogue attack from someone who meant well, I don't know that this is the way they would do it.
No, that seems too much of a conspiracy theory for me. I'm very much inclined to believe the simplest solution is probably the correct one. And so these are all groups that operate in the underground. Someone is trying to take them out to take over the territory for one reason or another.
Any idea who it would be a possibility?
Gods if I know.
Fair enough.
Other than dragons, I don't.
Not a clue, but you are going to a party at my parents' house.
Eventually.
That is true. That is a long time from now, though. More people might die before then.
Fair enough.
Eris is very concerned about people not dying. But I don't know the particulars about this situation, so I will follow the rest of you on this one.
As you all ponder. Grim, you were going to cast Sending?
Yes. Yeah. Grim will cast Sending to Eliana.
Huh?
I need my word counter, which I should have opened up somewhere in the last 10 minutes or however many minutes it's been. Elenia. It doesn't have to be, but while you're at the court, Uriel owes me some information. If you could remind him, please.
Sure does.
She will respond. I can tell him. Will he remember what information it is?
Grim does not reply because they had used the spell slot on a teleport when they were pinging around the last call earlier and would not have had a short rest while walking around the city / rowing or sailing.
Oh, excellent.
So you get no response.
He's
Eliana would have been out at the time of the teleport, so she can draw whatever conclusions she sees fit.
She's not completely surprised to not get a response.
Fair.
Right, so I will be careful and keep an eye out and maybe carry an extra gun with me.
Indeed. Perhaps give your sister a heads up as well.
I will, and they'll probably tighten security around the entire compound.
Please don't get killed.
No
I
plans
know
on
you
it.
won't. I believe in you.
I appreciate your faith in me. It is not proven true, but I appreciate your faith.
It is not what?
It is not proven true.
Oh, there's always a chance it could.
I think Corinne finishes her tea, and then we'll stand up to head out.
Erebus will also set aside her cup and thank Say again for the tea, and ask her to please pass along the home decoration compliments to Alina.
She will. Alrighty. So let's pick up with Grim.
Meanwhile, at a bar in the Dockward.
Not that
Incredible.
bar in the Dockward, the other one.
I was braced for it to be that one.
Same.
Yeah, you notice
Grim
it's
doesn't
pretty empty when you walk in here.
Dahlia behind the bar.
Dahlia is behind the bar. She's
Okay,
behind the
Grim
bar.
is not looking at. Yeah.
You notice that she has so the bar is not open when you approach. But
Okay.
you are definitely ushered in. Because you're you. And as you come in, you realize that Dahlia has on the bar lined up just glasses upon glasses filled with wine and booze and beer. Tasting glasses. So they're all shot glasses.
Huh. And is she or is anyone else sampling them, or they're just sort of lined up chilling?
They're currently lined up, and there seems to be some sort of there's a large bottle of a clear liquid next to them. It looks like some sort of alchemy is going to be happening, maybe in the near future.
And what's Dahlia doing?
She is pouring samples from every single
she's
bottle in that
continuing.
bar. Yeah.
Dahlia.
Hi. Hello. Good to see you.
What are you doing?
I am testing to make sure none of my stock is poisoned.
Grim blinks. Is it?
I haven't tested yet.
We'll point at the bottle of clear liquid.
She nods. Why don't you start... There's a dropper in it. Why don't you start taking the dropper and putting a drop of each of that potion into each of the glasses.
All right. And Grim, like, visibly perplexed, but I am once again realizing that Grim has a type. Dahlia seems very all business. Grim has been assigned a helpful task. Grim is going to leap to help. So we'll begin at the far end of the line from where she is currently working, and we'll begin doing the thing.
Okay.
If they get more than a couple in without anything seeming to happen, they will have questions, but we'll see.
Yeah, you get a couple in and nothing has happened. They all seem to be... Nothing is happening.
Is something supposed to happen?
Only if something terrible has happened. If it turns black, let me know.
All right.
It'll turn into a black tar.
All right. Then. And we'll continue up the line.
Sure. You get most of the way through that line, the next line, the line after that. And you put a drop into what appears to be some sort of beer, maybe.
Okay.
And the liquid smokes and turns black and turns into like a black sludge at the bottom of the glass.
Grim will swear in Elvish and sort of jump back from the bar.
She turns around, she looks annoyed at it, and she pulls out a thing of like red paint and marks a giant X on one of the casks behind the bar. It's small, it's like a hogshead, so it's not one of the bigger ones.
I suppose it works.
I suppose it does as well.
Did you do that one to make sure it works? Or
I did not.
very much not?
Very much not.
All right.
All the
We'll
bars...
continue up the
all the bars
up the line.
All the bars in the Dark Void are testing their product today.
Does this have something to do with a incident?
Well, everything has something to do with an incident.
That's fair. Grim's gonna reach back down the line for one of the so like something they have already tested. Like we'll grab like a shot glass of cider and we'll throw it back.
Yep.
Puts the glass back into place. We'll continue sort of testing something with Zenithar and the Zents.
They took the brunt of the damage, I suppose.
They were... Do you know anything? Sort of like sidelong glance, like they've been very focused on sort of they've been mostly focused on the task and sort of casually chatting. Now they're sort of splitting focus between the task and looking at Dahlia.
Yeah, she nods. Bar called the Skewered Dragon had several of their higher end wine barrels poisoned.
Higher end.
The sort of thing that the average dock worker cannot afford.
Do I know anything about the Skewered Dragon?
Sure, roll
like
me a history check, but the DC's going to be real low.
Okay. I'm going to use a luck point, because that was real bad. Oh, that's much better. I went from a 3 to an 18, so that is a 23 on the dice. On a 23 total, not on the dice. It's a d20.
Sure. The Skewer Dragon is a fucking sketchy bar. Facing an alley. Like, it's not even on a street. This is a bar that's so sketchy, it's not even on a fucking street. It's an alley that runs between Net Street and Fillet Lane.
That seems fine.
It looks like a ruin. Like, it looks like an abandoned building, and its front windows are smashed to hell. And there's a ship's anchor lodged in the roof. However, the bar is known as a good place to fence product.
Huh.
So it's not neutral territory, because there's no such thing as neutral territory, but everyone kind of tries to get along there because it's a good place to fence product.
Okay, so it's like, leave your business outside if you can. Do other business in here, then go back outside to your own business?
Yes.
Okay.
If you're gonna murder somebody, murder them outside.
Keep the blood on the street. I like it.
To that end, they have a lot of security. Sketchy as fuck security. The sort of security where they will kill you if you cause problems.
That's one way to get your point across.
Yeah, not a lot of people cause problems there. That's why it's...
It's very effective. Do I have a sense of sort of what constitutes a higher end wine? Like, are we talking
something
Boot Wheel, or are we talking like Bud Light?
This is definitely the sort of place where there are some movers and shakers that occasionally frequent there. And so we're talking something that might cost a silver. Like,
okay.
A silver is the expensive wine at this place.
Okay, so like below Corinne's everyday drinking wine, but above the everyday dock workers, like Dahlia said.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Well, that's what you get for drinking at the Skewered Dragon, I suppose.
I suppose. That's always a concern there. I tried to avoid it, but then she points to the cask. Apparently even I was affected.
Is that something... What is it? Is it anything special, or is it just...
No, not anything special, really. Pretty middle-of-the-road stuff. There's not a lot of it, though. It's got a reputation for causing you to go a little... It's a get-drunk fast sort of beer.
I'm sort of eyeing it, and it sort of has been continuing up the line. Has anything else gone wonky?
Nope, nothing else has gone wonky.
Okay. And sort of looking at the size of the bottle. Is it a favorite of anyone in particular? Or just people who need to get drunk very quick?
No one in particular. It's generally just... It's popular enough. It's not anything that anyone... It's popular enough. It's not our most common brew. But if we hadn't been running a drink special last night, we probably would have had 1 or 2 poisonings at our bar too. But a lot of places are running a drink special for the holiday tomorrow.
What was the special?
She kind of blinks and, it was a full moon cider.
Grim points at the shot glass that they already drank and looks back at her.
She nods. That's why it was the first one that I tested. Or would have you had you tested, rather.
It's quite good. You may want to add it to the rotation. I suppose you know that since you selected it and have been serving it.
It went over very well.
I'm glad it wasn't poisoned.
Same.
Do you know what the results have been of if everyone is testing? Have you all discussed it yet?
Not yet. Everyone's basically closed up this morning. You're lucky if you can find a drink anywhere in this ward. Trades wards too. I think some of the Some of the bars there have closed down. Yawning Portal remains open, but it's the Yawning Portal.
Grim nods. And sort of we'll move, like, if I've reached the end of the line, we'll sort of move back to the one with the sludge. Has anything changed, or is it just sort of still sludgy and smoky?
It stopped smoking.
Okay.
But the effects were dramatic and definitely probably what was supposed to happen.
Okay.
There's no questionable negatives here. Or questionable positives here.
We'll pick it up and sort of tilt the glass a bit. Do you know what it is?
A type of poison? No.
May I have it? Not to use, just I'm able to find out.
Sure. We're supposed to hand them over to the god, but I'm happy to hand it over to you instead.
You won't get in trouble beyond trouble you're comfortable with, I assume.
How would they know I had any? I could just say, nope, nothing here.
I suppose we could also just pour some more of the beer into another shot glass and test that. Unless you would.
She'll pull out the cask that was definitely affected.
Grim will pour another. We'll produce another shot glass and we'll test that as well.
Come here. You can make it. Come on.
Little squeaker.
You can make it.
He says it's 6 inches. That's too far.
Yeah, he's looking at my desk like, I wants to go there, and I'm like, yeah, okay. Come on, bud.
Baby.
Do you want to rescue? Is that what this is about? Go make it. It's a big jump. You got it. You can do it. Oh, okay, I'm just gonna come get you.
Little kitty, big jump.
All right, here you go.
Yay! So Grim will. I'm hoping has well, I'm sure there's like an empty bottle or something behind.
Oh yeah, there's plenty.
It's going to put the sample of actually we'll take two. We'll take a sample of the sludge, and also a sample of the fresh, the untested, like the same stuff, the poison beer.
Yeah, the poison beer.
1 shot of poison beer, and we'll it's just gonna put them in something that can be capped before putting them into the haversack.
Yeah, fair enough. Are you gonna do anything special to label the bottle of poison beer amongst all your other bottles in the bag?
I mean, these are small bottles. I'm picturing like airplane size.
Sure.
Bottles. So and nobody else goes in the haversack. So no, Grim is not going to label them because they know what they are. I'm sure that'll be fine.
Sure. No mischief will come from that.
Facts.
Hey, Sam,
Not whatsoever.
can you pop this in the kitchen?
And I think so we'll put them away and sort of to Dahlia. I have a foolish idea that I'm going to ask you so that you can laugh at me and tell me it's foolish.
All right.
Well, then I will have several more along this in similar class, but on different topics.
Okay.
The Zent and the Xanathar, if they were drinking at the Skewered Dragon, they were drinking at the Sewer Dragon. They were not perhaps celebrating a ceasefire. Yeah?
No, I don't think that there's any sort of ceasefire happening.
Grim sort of sighs. I suppose, well, it would have been very clever. All right. Have you the Revenge and the Tutor?
Yes. Sorry, pulling up my notes.
Grim's just gonna sort of lean on lean on the bar and wait.
Okay.
On the very edge of the bar since it's completely covered in shot glasses.
Yeah. Chrome, since when do you not pull up my notes when I ask you, when I search? So Grim asked Dahlia about what specifically?
It was about the I don't actually remember what they asked about the revenge, and they're not really thinking about it. They can remember the ship's name, they can't remember the people's names. It was about basically the Hawkwinter's tutor, who went back to being a dock worker. And it was just basically like what became of him. Is there anything weird going on there, or does it seem like what happened is weird, but he is totally a dock worker, and that's life now.
He's definitely a dock worker. He actually, I think he went south to Baldur's Gate. Got a little bit too much ribbing for being a tutor for several months.
Grim laughs. Well, that's all right then. Thank you. And like elbow on the bar, chin in their hand, sort of studying the line of glasses. Did I ever think too much of you? Or do I now? But really, did I ever before? When we were in like sort of vague, like all-encompassing gesture with a free hand.
Okay, I guess he couldn't make that jump.
Oh no!
Hi, bud.
Walking it off? Scattering of things.
Just gonna, walking it off. I totally didn't.
He meant to do that.
Meant to do that.
Oh, buddy. Small indignation.
He's gone to hide under Sam's desk, which is much easier to find. Oh, anyway, well, I mean, a little bit, but I'm pretty sure I was one of your first relationships, and that's pretty common.
Oh. You didn't mind? Did you? Or did you? You would have told me if you minded.
That's not something I generally mind.
They sort of glance, like peek at her from behind their bangs for a minute and laugh. All right.
To be fair, I have lived quite a different life than perhaps your current partner has, and as such, being put on a pedestal.
Something about it could just be a hypothetical question.
Oh, I'm certain it's just a hypothetical question. She
they reach for another of the tested safe shots, and without like checking what it is, and throw it back, and then make a face.
It tastes like black licorice. It is awful.
They grab a third one. This time checking, like making the making still like exaggerated, but not that exaggerated because it's awful grimace. We'll now check for something genuinely acceptable.
Yeah, you find something that smells like maple candy.
Much better.
I'm gonna need you to make me a Constitution saving throw as you start downing shots, please.
That one. Total of 2.
It's going to your head a little bit.
You hold on.
Can't tell if you're dizzy because you're dizzy, or dizzy because of what you're talking about, or dizzy because you've had 3 shots in the last several minutes.
They swear again in Elvish, but more quietly, and just sort of slump onto the nearest stool, and carefully, with one hand, clear some of the shot glasses to the we'll sort of rearrange just enough space to put their head down on the bar.
See, a girl of my standing tends to prefer to be treated a little bit like we're delicate pieces of glass that definitely need to be taken care of, because we don't get that on an everyday basis. Quite the opposite with Corinne, I'm afraid.
No, that's more my job, really, without picking my head up, to be clear.
She's gonna ruffle your hair.
Grim, sort of performative, whimper moans a little bit. But, laughing, but still definitely not picking up their head. I feel like I should ask for some advice, but I do not want advice right now.
Do you just
But
want
maybe...
me to pat you on the head?
Yes, please.
She just pats you on the head.
Do you want to go to a party? Not with me, with all of us. I'll be there too.
All right, sounds fun. When, where, who, what?
About a week from now. Some fancy family that does crimes. The theme of spring, I believe.
Oh, okay, so you want me to go to a fancy, noble family who does crimes party? Dressed like it's spring.
Correct. I will have someone who can explain it better come down and explain it better. And then you can decide whether to join us or not.
You know what? If you buy me an outfit, I will go.
And like lifts just sort of like frees one hand from beneath their head and like gives her one finger gun. And I think, I mean, Grim's going to be there for a bit. But I think that's all that they want from this moment in time.
She's going to continue testing the bottle, the shot glasses.
Delightful.
And occasionally patting you on the head.
Grim is more comforted than they would like to admit. I was gonna ask if I could hang out long enough to get a short rest, but I think I think at this point I'm not getting a short rest. I'm getting a small hangover.
Yeah, that you need to either commit and keep drinking or start chugging water because you've got a headache now.
Yeah, Grim will eventually like plaintively ask for water. And we'll focus on that.
Yeah. She pops a bottle of water, spring water for you and hands it over.
Delightful. Thank you. Always a delight.
Incredible.
Oh my god, I am excited for the matchmaking y'all are gonna do to Dahlia, like Cinderella style at this fucking party.
I mean, Grim has not forgotten that they want to introduce her to. They've forgotten the guy's name, but they've not forgotten that this is a thing.
Oh, what's his bucket? The hot lord at the
Lord something.
fundraiser. Yeah.
There you go, Lord Argent.
Lord
Yeah.
Argent.
Play to find out. Delightful. Grim went to the bar at the dock where he got a little bit poison. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit of poison.
As a treat.
At least not. It was a little bit of poison and not a little bit poisoned.
Yeah.
So the rest of you heading back to the call?
I think so.
Okay.
Or at least that's where Corinne is going.
You notice that there is a sign up front that says closed.
Oh no.
Eliana did want to drop by, see if Uriel was free, and pass on the message from him if he was.
Yeah, Uriel is elbow deep in someone's legs.
Ah!
Good talk.
But says that he does remember what Grim needed and will try and put together something coherent later.
Thank you. Sorry to bother you right now. I will leave you to that.
Yeah, he seems to be resetting a bone or something. It's gruesome.
Yeah.
Trauma ward.
Yep. Being a trauma doc, good times. Yeah, so the call is closed.
The call is closed.
Corinne opens the door anyway.
I mean, yeah, it's your house.
Yeah, we live here.
You live here.
Yeah. So she opens the door, walks in. I suppose this is precautionary.
Notice that several of the tables have bottles on them and shot glasses next to them, and much like Grimm had seen at Dahlia's bar, a large bottle of clear liquid. We're talking like a solid like liter bottle of clear liquid is sitting on the bar as with a it has like an eyedropper in it, and looks like they're prepping to test all their alcohol. Kalindra's overseeing things. Philip is moving heavy things. Margot is pouring samples.
And Ember is on fire.
Ember is staying far away from the alcohol.
That's yep. Checked out. Checks out. Right. Anything we can do to perhaps speed this along?
Grab a dropper and start testing.
Excellent.
Kalindra says. She points to the thing. Apparently the results are going to be quite dramatic if we have anything that is poisoned.
Oh, like explosively so?
I heard it turns black and starts smoking.
Oh.
What who came up with this?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you, Eliana, because you were talking at the same time.
Oh, sorry. Who came up with this?
I don't know. It was, these were, testing kits were, available. The gods sent people around saying testing kits were available to any barkeep who would like to test their stock, and such. We would be able to. I definitely wanted to be able to say, yes, we have tested all our stock and none of it is poisoned.
We would like to, yes.
Because then we get a fancy sign out front that says we have tested all of our stock and none of it is poisoned.
Corinne has grabbed a dropper in the meantime and has begun testing samples.
Sure.
Yep, Lenya's also jumping in to help.
Yeah, Corinne she's put herself in charge of specifically testing the wine samples.
Mm-hmm. You notice that several bottles haven't been pulled, but these are older bottles that you guys got like directly from the Kothra winery, so like sealed with wax. Like the ones that are not, they're above suspicion, really.
Yeah, extremely fair.
So the rare wines are not being tested. The wines that are so nice that they are sealed and like proof of sealing happens. Are not the sort of thing that's been testing. The house wine, though, that's being tested.
Yep, checks out. We'll just start making our way down the line.
Yep.
Making our way.
Yeah, you guys are still testing when Grimm approaches. Grimm, your bar is closed.
Grimm is not moving very quickly.
Oh, I'm sure not.
But does like pick up the pace on seeing the sign. Opens the door, quick scan of the room, focuses on Kalindra. Is any of it bad?
Nothing so far.
Visibly relieved. Like, it hadn't occurred to them until they saw the sign that it could be like even up this far north could be an issue. But like once it did, it sure did. So sort of visibly relieved, looks around, trying to gauge how far we've gotten in the testing.
Looks like you guys are like solidly the middle to the end. Kalindra looks at you. I didn't really think that it was a concern, but we get a fancy symbol to hang on our sign if we do all of our testing, and we get to say we tested all of our stock and it is not poisoned. So I figured.
I know you figured correctly, and if someone decided that it would be a very good time to begin poisoning, a copycat poisoning, then or we would have missed something and then be noticed the bar that missed something, then the bar that tested everything. So very good. Would you like to see what it looks like?
Yes, I would love to see what we're looking out for.
Grim will sort of set the haversack on the floor beside the bar, and will produce the bottle of sludge and then the bottle of beer. And then I think it occurs to them, do you have a bit of paint?
She nods and she points to on the bar there is a small jar of paint with a brush next to it. It's like just
Okay.
a cheapo brush. Looks like this may have been
Grim
part
will-
of the
yeah.
testing kit.
Delightful. Grim will now paint a small but very small, commensurate to the size of the bottle, like very visible skull and crossbones on both the poison beer and the tested poison beer. Like that. Alenia, are you busy?
Yeah.
You don't have any way of knowing what's in here, do you? And we'll hold up the untested poison beer that has not yet reacted with testing.
Would that be something that would be within her capabilities? I think it would be like in her capabilities as a potion maker rather than anything magical she has going on.
Yeah, do you have you have an alchemist kit?
Just an herbalist's one, so no alchemy.
You could test it. You would be able to catch some poisons. Not all of them, but some.
I could see what I might be able to find in there. There are limits, but I could give it a pretty good try for common poisons, I think.
Grim nods and hands it over. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. She'll set aside her testing. Hold on a moment, and she gets her her herbalist's kit, and she will try to do some testing on the beer.
Mm-hmm. All right, you can do some testing on the beer. You can roll me for your herbalism kit. You can use wisdom.
All right.
Grim will slouch onto a bar stool.
That is a 16.
16. All right, give me a second.
Straight wisdom?
Be with your proficiency because you're proficient in the tools.
Okay, yeah, that brings it to a dirty 20.
Dirty 20? Okay. Some poisons, they're easy to spot. And are fairly common. Foxglove is both of those. This is foxglove.
She identifies it. Yeah.
Small bell-shaped buds of various colors from red to lavender. They're in the digitalis family. Heart stimulant and used to treat kidneys. So basically, they make your heart go so fast you have a heart attack.
Foxglove. Nasty way to die.
I've heard of that. Not hard to come by, I assume.
No, it's not. It's not the poison that would be used by someone who was trying to evade detection. Very hard.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And then they sort of blink and will reach into the haversack and produce the pouch of seeds from Karis.
Mm-hmm.
The hag sent these for you.
Thank you to her. Eliana accepts the seeds and examines them. Did she say what they were for?
She thought you needed a garden.
I hadn't thought of that myself, but maybe I do need a garden.
These appear to be a beautiful set of common medicinal herbs. Nothing super common though. Like, it's not like she gave you mint and basil. She gave you like she gave you stuff that's a little harder to find, like stuff you would have to go to an apothecary shop for.
Oh, it will be nice to be able to grow my own of these. Eliana kind of disappears into thought, thinking about where would be best to set these up at the call. I don't think we have any outdoor space here, though, but... I think I can grow these indoors, all the same. Terrible weather to be growing things outdoors anyway.
Certainly have enough neighbors who have indoor gardens. I'm sure someone could advise.
Yeah. Yeah, I could ask Fala. I know they would probably be able to spare the space for me.
Grim will sort of nod and glance back out at the room. Is our stuff still clear?
It's all still clear. And you guys are drawing to the end of the testing. It looks like Kalindra was right, and she was mostly testing to be able to have the sign that says, yes, we tested.
Confirmed safe.
Confirmed safe.
Yeah, I think they just sort of watch until the end. Give a sort of satisfied nod. And then we'll turn and just put their head back down on the bar. Down on this bar.
Well, I was going to bake for everybody today, but that doesn't seem like... this doesn't seem like the right day for it anymore.
Corinne finishes testing her line and then looks up at the bar and she's like, do they fall asleep?
No. Not yet.
I'll walk over. Was the visit with Dahlia that rough?
Sort of not pick up, like turn their head to sort of catch Corinne and anyone else who is standing on the same side of them. I need to ask that you and or friends go explain the garden party to her, please.
And Corinne kind of like processes that for a second and then like grins. Did you invite Dahlia to the Kyrell party?
Maybe.
Insight check.
They're not actually contesting. They absolutely did. As you know.
Well, yeah, it seems fun. 13, which Drunk Grim is not hard to read. Maybe. This maybe apparently requires explanation of the event itself.
I am not good at explaining social events or fancy houses or dress codes. I do need to buy her a dress. I assume that means pay Aelin for a dress. I think is how that will work.
Indeed. Does Dahlia know that she's going to have to make the trip to get measured?
Perhaps you can explain that as well.
Excellent.
I'm sure you two will have a lot to talk about.
Oh,
and then turns my head back to center and puts it back face down.
Should I expect that there'll be more to discuss? What else did you talk about besides?
I hope not. I most sincerely hope not. Please talk about dresses and garden parties only. Maybe poison.
Garden parties, garden parties, noble houses, poison. Got it. I will definitely not make any other inquiries as to other topics of conversation that may have come up during your visit today.
I
Has
am very
Corinne
fond of you. What was that, Rebecca?
Has Corinne monologued yet this episode?
Sure hasn't.
It has not.
I would like a monologue from her, please.
Delightful. It's mostly like, oh, you drunk idiot. Oh, you've had a long day, haven't you? It's not even noon. What did she do? What did you talk about? This is
her.
incredible. like all delighted. Like, to be clear.
I feel like every time Grim comes back from Dahlia, he's wrecked.
Yeah.
Or they're wrecked, rather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to Grim goes. I mean, Grim. There would be regular times that Grim hangs out with Dahlia that are not on screen.
Yeah.
Because they're not relevant to the events of the game or to characters' arcs. But when Grim goes to Dahlia in game, it is because they need to ask a question that they know the answer will wreck them, but they still need to know it.
Dahlia has a brand.
Yep.
And I
She's
mean,
a
at least it's
bartender.
better to know that going in.
Yeah.
Mhm. And like 2/3 of it is that I may not be the only one who remembers that Grim has a type every time they go to visit Dahlia. So
But yes, that's the monologue.
delightful.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Shall we are you quite comfortable there? Should we bring a pillow? Or is that too much for you? Do you want to suffer a little bit?
Are you going to bring one of those gold pillows down?
Depends on what they say, I suppose.
Grim tries to dimension door out, but hasn't had a short rest yet, and so makes a sound probably not dissimilar to whatever Marina just made, but of a different quality. And we'll just get up and walk upstairs. Oh no! Sure, this is the best use of this. We'll sort of take one hand off the bar, reach in their pocket
Perfect.
and activate the relic of the shadow, and then we'll dimension door out upstairs.
Oh my god, I love it so much.
No one knows where yet, but Grim has left the tavern space.
Yes. I love when fancy magic items are used for this.
Yes.
So that happened. Calindra.
Corinne mostly is just grinning. Like, very pleased with herself.
I love that Grim has a type, and also their adopted daughter is also that type.
It's fine.
Yeah.
They didn't know Calindra was this sassy when they invited a bunch of urchins to crash in the tavern.
That's when we get to nature versus nurture.
The sassy one was
She's not a redhead, is she?
No.
Oh, she's a
No,
blonde.
she's a blonde.
Yeah.
The
Don't
sassy
worry.
opportunist was just the one that stuck around.
So Corinne kind of like looking very pleased, like wipes down the bar where Grim's head just was, and then returns to dispose of the samples that have passed muster.
Yeah, easy enough. And everything's starting to get put back together. Calindra actually pulls out from underneath the bar a beautiful, it looks like a beautiful silver seal. It's definitely like silver coated. It's definitely not like actual silver. With several like gold ribbons hanging from it. Like, this is like obnoxious and visible. And she goes,
Is that the sign thing?
It is. It's. I love it. I love how terrible it is.
It's really offensively conspicuous.
But it's conspicuous.
You can't deny that.
She goes to attach it to the front door.
Yep. Corinne shrugs and she's like, well, business is business. And then after she's satisfied that the tavern space is cleaned up, she will go upstairs to try and find the sulky warlock.
All right. And on that note,
Give them their moment.
And on that note, I'm going to call it for tonight.
Yay! Incredible mix of plot and silliness. I enjoy it.
Yes.
That was fun. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Incredible.
Hey, we'll be one of the only bars open tonight this evening.
Hey!